26. Strange movements, please recommend. After signing the resignation form and collecting her compensation from the finance department, Xiao Ruian left the company in a daze. Ruian. Quote. Xiao Ruian turned around and saw that it was Qi Jun. Brother Jun. Quote. Qi Jun walked up to her and said with a smile, "Would you like to have dinner together tonight?" Quote. Qi Jun smiled, but Xiao Ruian shook her head. Brother Jun, I understand what you mean, but actually I have always regarded you as my brother. Quote. I knew it. Quote. Qi Jun smiled and shook his head, you might as well just say you think of me as a good person. Quote. Xiao Ruian smiled but didn't say anything. The Qi army did not persist in fighting. A man like him would never hang himself on a tree. If you succeed, succeed. If you fail, move on to the next one. Simple and straightforward. What are your plans next? Quote. Qi Jun asked. Wait a minute, I want to go home first. Quote. After Xiao Ruian finished speaking, she seemed to have turned back into the innocent girl she was before the accident, her eyes full of light as she said. I thought I should try writing novels. I've heard that many people who are dissatisfied with reality try to recreate the world of their dreams in novels. Quote. I think I'm quite suitable. Quote. Ha ha ha, that's pretty good, I can try it and travel to a dream world. Quote. Qi Jun finished speaking and gave another piece of advice, but in the end, we still have to return to reality. Quote. Certainly. Quote. Xiao Ruian smiled, took a step forward and walked out of the company gate. Her thin figure cast a long, slanted shadow in the twilight. Ellipsis ellipsis. The matter has been resolved. The PR department bears primary responsibility for this incident, but the game is under our control, so we also bear secondary responsibility. Our task today is to fix the bug before leaving get off work. Quote. Half an hour later, Shen Lei, who had resolved all the issues, announced to everyone the division of responsibilities for the matter. After knowing that their bonuses would not be deducted, every programmer almost forgot the hard work of overtime, and quickly gathered their spirits and started working hard to fix the bugs. As soon as the work started, this group of programmers with science and engineering backgrounds immediately showed their professionalism. They all had their eyes wide open and immersed in the world of code. Due to the suddenness of the bug, everyone worked together to overcome it and communicated more with each other, which facilitated a faster solution. When they figured out the principle of the bug, someone couldn't help but sigh. Don't tell me, it's quite outrageous that they can even find this kind of bug. Quote. Exactly. To be able to find this bug at this exact moment, it would take an average expert to do it. Quote. Programmers who can enter the White Goose are basically from famous universities and have strong professional qualities. But everyone couldn't help but twitch their lips when they saw this bug. This kind of bug can also be triggered by humans. Ghost Shadow is a 7-star map designed by them. This is the most difficult map. This bug requires reaching this location within 1 minute and 30 seconds, which requires very high technical skills. It can even be said that without any mistake, it would be impossible to arrive here at this point in time. However, the player who spread this bug relied on their superb skills and unique running method to come up with such a trick that they almost lost their year-end bonus. This made these science and engineering men love and hate it. As a man, I admire these high-level players who can master super skills, which is a level that their brainpower and knowledge cannot reach. The hate is that once these bugs appear, they have to lose a lot of hair to fix them. Luckily, this bug isn't that complicated. We should be able to fix it in 2 or 3 hours. Come on, everyone. Quote. I already have an idea for repairing it. Let me see if it works. Quote. I think so. Quote. Me too. Quote. This can even save a lot of time. That's awesome, old Lu. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Zhou Tianao, who had fallen asleep while browsing his phone, suddenly heard a voice in his mind. The bug has been fixed, the mission is completed, and the reward is a bottle of body transformation fluid. Quote. The reward has been paid. Quote. The first mission is complete. The system will be upgraded. It is estimated to take 12 hours. Please be patient. Quote. The sound faded away. Because the lights were not on, Zhou Tianao, who was still confused, suddenly found a hazy light mist in front of him in the darkness. Body transformation fluid. He immediately perked up, stretched out his hand and touched the light mist. As soon as he touched it, a palm-sized glass bottle fell into his hand. Because it was too dark to see clearly, and he was too lazy to turn on the light, he could only move his eyes closer and look carefully in the moonlight outside the window. I saw that the small bottle was covered with a white label with two small song-style characters on it. Open black lens bracket kidney treasure close black lens bracket. Zhou Tianao. 6. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he couldn't help but think of that classic advertising slogan. Sichuan and Chongqing dialect version. A bottle of refreshing. 2 bottles and never get tired. 3 bottles of immortality. It tastes delicious. Zhou Tianao couldn't help imagining the last sentence in his mind, shook his head with a smile, opened the shenbao in his hand, and drank it all in one gulp. Gurgle gurgle. The moment he drank it, Zhou Tianao felt as if his stomach exploded, and a feeling of becoming a jet fighter swept over his body. What the hell? Why are you still putting it out there? Without saying a word, he jumped out of bed and rushed to the bathroom. But before he took 2 steps, he felt dizzy and not only lost control of his body, but his consciousness also began to weaken. Fuck, can you let me go to the bathroom and squirt again? This was Zhou Tianao's last thought before he lost consciousness. Plop. Ellipsis ellipsis. Click. Da da da. Boom boom boom. Slightly. After falling to the ground with a thud, Zhou Tianao didn't lose control of his back door, but instead began to make the sound of bones cracking all over his body. His body began to swell, and his clothes, which had originally fitted him slightly loose, became tighter, and the lines of his muscles became clearly visible. As he lay on the ground, his buttocks, which were pointed upwards, became more and more raised. I don't know how long it took. Zhou Tianao seemed to hear a slight sound in his daze. That was the sound of toes stepping on the ground, like someone walking on tiptoe. After walking many steps, the footsteps became very obvious, and slowly, some subtle metal collision sounds appeared. It's very much like the sound of a key being inserted into a lock. But soon he found that the sound began to appear repeatedly, in and out, in and out. This process was repeated countless times, and suddenly there was a click, and then everything immediately returned to silence, as if the previous sound had never existed. Squeak. After a long time, the sound of a door opening was heard, subtle and long, as if someone was carefully opening a door. Soon, the tiptoeing sound appeared again. Clatter. 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 To Zhou Tianao, the sound was so clear. Especially my right ear, I could even hear the sound of the sand on the toe of my shoe pressing against the floor. Zhou Tianao was very confused. What happened to his body? Why did he hear such strange noises? Is this the function of shenbao? Open the door to your body's treasures. Just as he was wondering, he suddenly felt a sharp pain on the back of his right hand. It was the pain of being stepped on by the sharp tip of a shoe. Ouch! Who stepped on me? Zhou Tianao suddenly woke up, subconsciously pulled back his right hand, and became completely sober. At the same time, he heard a clang sound beside his ears, and a black figure rushed out of the door in the hazy moonlight. After 0.01 seconds, Zhou Tianao reacted and shouted. Fuck, there's a thief. 27. How are you? Please recommend. Zhou Tianao only reacted when he saw the thief running away. It turns out that the noises just now were made by the thief. Where are you running, thief? He didn't know where he got the confidence from, but as he spoke, he put his hands on the floor and tried to get up and chase after the person. With this press, he felt his body was as light as a piece of paper. With just a little effort, he flew into the air. Only then did he realize that he had taken shenbao and his physical condition was frighteningly good. The next second, a bunch of fighting techniques revived in his mind, and at the same time integrated into his bones and combined with this powerful body. At this moment, Zhou Tianao felt full of power. Run. Where to? He turned his head and saw a black figure running wildly in the night. The two were now 50 meters apart. Under normal circumstances, Zhou Tianao would have had no choice but to call the police. It would have been a pipe dream for him to catch up at this distance. Not to mention that the other party may have weapons in his hands, so even if you catch up with him, it would be tantamount to suicide. But now, he was almost fearless. At this moment, he was like a cheetah ready to hunt, turning slightly and facing the door. Bang! He took a step, and the porcelain floor under his feet cracked instantly. Then Zhou Tianao shot out like an arrow, passing through the door with a swish. In his sight, all that was left was the track between him and the thief. The track was reserved for the 100-meter race, and the thief was already 50 meters ahead of him. At this distance, even the sprinter Usain Bolt wouldn't be able to catch up in a short time. But in his eyes, he felt that he could easily accomplish this feat that could easily surpass the world record. Clatter. During the process, he tapped the ground with his toes, and his body moved like a flying swallow, his speed increasing again. In front of him, a thief in black clothes and a black hat was running desperately, gasping for air, but he never dared to stop. His eyes were fixed on the front, where there was a beige car that he had also stolen. As long as he lets him sit inside, he can step on the accelerator and drive away. At this moment, the distance between him and the car was only 50 meters. He felt his throat was about to split and his thighs felt as heavy as if they were filled with cement, but he still ran for his life. Being able to do this job, he is still very confident in his running speed. He only needs 6 or 7 seconds to run 50 meters. 50 meters. 40 meters. 30. The thief who was calculating the distance in his mind suddenly felt something hit the back of his head while running. Before he could react, he suddenly felt a huge force at the back of his head, and he fell forward, with his forehead hitting the ground first. With a bang, the thief was stunned. At this moment, he had only one thought in his mind. I'm not going to die, am I? Quote. Ellipsis. Uncle Police, you have to protect me. I haven't even stolen anything yet, and he almost beat me to death. Quote. Inside the police station, Zhou Tianao sat obediently on a chair, watching the thief crying to the police. Shut up. You think you're justified in stealing. You're lucky they didn't beat you to death. Do you know how many thieves are beaten to death every year and no one claims their bodies? Quote. The police officer in uniform finished speaking in a bad mood, then turned to Zhou Tianao and scolded him. You too, you hit him so hard. Although stealing is illegal, it's not a capital crime. You just need to subdue him. Look at his bruised face. If it's just a minor injury, you'll be detained for 10 days or half a month and have to pay compensation, right? Quote. Hearing about the compensation, the thief immediately perked up. I want to get an injury assessment. He hit me, and I want him to pay me. Quote. The police officer said disdainfully, an injury assessment will cost at least 800 yuan. Do you have any money? Quote. Quote. The thief fell silent. Would he still do such sneaky things if he had money? Okay, you deserved it. You stole something from a tough guy's house, and you're lucky he didn't beat you to death. Quote. After the police officer finished speaking, he couldn't help but take another look at Zhou Tianao's figure. His muscles are clearly defined, and it's no exaggeration to say that he is a fitness expert. Looking at his already well-toned abdominal muscles, the police officer started thinking about whether he should go to the gym to exercise after get off work. Uncle Policeman, can I ask him a question? Quote. Zhou Tianao suddenly spoke up, and when the police officer nodded, he asked. How did you get into my house? Quote. I have nothing at home. It's just a shabby rental house. What valuable things can you find? Quote. After Zhou Tianao finished speaking, the police officer was also very curious and asked. Come on, that's an old neighborhood full of old people or young people with little money. What can you steal there? Are you stupid just starting out? Quote. Uncle Police Officer, you can insult my personality, but you can't insult my profession. I'm known in the industry as someone who can open any lock. I'm a well-known thief. Quote. Seeing the police officer's increasingly sharp gaze, the thief's voice became increasingly quiet, and he could only pout and say aggrievedly. Don't you have a computer worth tens of thousands of dollars? Quote. Computer. Quote. The police officer was very surprised and looked at Zhou Tianao. Is this true? Quote. Zhou Tianao nodded, then frowned and said. How did you know that? Quote. As soon as he said this, he suddenly had an idea, as if he had grasped some clue, and blurted out. Could it be Monkey Brothers live broadcast? Quote. Yes. Quote. The thief nodded. But how did you know my address? Quote. Are you following me? Quote. Quote. The police officer's eyes suddenly became sharp. This was a premeditated crime. No, no. Quote. The thief quickly waved his hands. Didn't Brother Monkey show you your chat history during the live broadcast today? Quote. I saw your address in the chat history at the time. I happened to live nearby, so I started staking out your place. Quote. Once these words were spoken, the truth became clear. Zhou Tianao was also ashamed. The internet was really scary nowadays. He remembered that he quickly stopped Monkey Brother from posting the chat history, but he didn't expect that it still led to the leakage of his address. Looks like I have to move soon. After leaving the police station, it was already 2 o'clock in the morning. Zhou Tianao took the kidney medicine at around 10 o'clock. The thief was caught at around 0:30 and stayed in the police station for more than an hour. The officer on duty was originally planning to send him back, fearing he might run into some bad guys. But after looking at his physique, he started to worry about whether he would beat the bad guys to death. Back at the rental house, Zhou Tianao couldn't sleep either. The effect of Shenbao makes him still very energetic. So he packed up his luggage, including his new computer, and prepared to leave tomorrow to find a new place to live. After packing up, he put his things beside the bed and lay down on the bed. He only has more than 2,000 yuan on him now, which is not enough for the deposit to rent a better house. So, he wants to draw a lottery and use up the remaining draws. He has tried it and found that the system upgrade and the face-slapping lottery do not conflict, so the lottery can still be drawn normally. Looking at his now powerful body, Zhou Tianao smiled slightly. Instructor, are you okay? 28. Face-slapping props recommendations required. Start the face-slapping lottery. It's still the familiar disadvantageous style. Adding the face-slapping value he gained from the previous live broadcast, his face-slapping value returned to around 10,000. Lottery. Quote. Zhou Tianao muttered to himself, and his slapping value automatically decreased by 1,000, and the turntable began to spin. 3, 2, 1. The constantly rotating pointer began to slow down and slowly stopped in a foggy area. His eyes lit up. This was the third area he had lit up. He has only lit up random skills and money lucky bag now, and wonders what the third area is. Under his expectant gaze, the fog gradually dissipated, revealing its true face. The painting above was still in a very simple style, depicting a stick figure being slapped hard by another stick figure. A few words at the bottom of the screen. Open black lens bracket random face slapping props close black lens bracket. Before he could realize what was meant, the two stick figures on the screen suddenly turned into animations. The animation content has not changed, it's still one stick figure blowing the other away. But as the stick figure flew out, a ball of light seemed to travel through time and space, flying directly out of the lottery area along with the stick figure's flying image. The connection between the two was very smooth. System, you really can make things happen. Quote. Zhou Tianao only then realized that this was the system giving him a slap in the face. He tapped the ball of light with his fingertips, and it shattered with a pop, and a piece of paper that looked like a shopping voucher fell into his hand. Why does it feel like I'm playing a gashapon machine? Quote. Zhou Tianao complained, then picked up the paper and took a closer look. Tenfold face slapping amplification rebate coupon. Function. After a successful face slap, use this coupon to increase the effect of the face slap tenfold and return it to the host. Note. Consumable item, can only be used once. Tenfold increase in return. Zhou Tianao's eyes lit up. This thing is very useful. For example, if he brags to others that he has 10,000 yuan, but others don't believe him, he can turn around and take out 10,000 yuan to slap them in the face. If he uses this coupon again, the money will increase tenfold and become 100,000 yuan back in his hands. If you have 100 million in your hand, and you get an enhancement coupon, wouldn't that be 1 billion? 1 billion, I can't spend it all in my lifetime. Quote. Zhou Tianao's heart was pounding, but he soon laughed at himself. Where could he find 100 million? Unless every time he draws a lottery next time, it will be a lucky bag. Each lucky bag can give out a prize of up to 1 million. This way he will have an increase of 9 million, which is 90 million, which is not far from a small goal. This way, when he draws the next boost coupon, he will be a billionaire. But he could only think about these things for now. The probability of obtaining these things was probably even lower than winning the lottery jackpot. We can only use it when the time is right. Quote, putting aside unrealistic ideas, Zhou Tianao put the enhancement coupon into the system and continued with the next lottery. With the amplification coupons as a good start, he felt that good things would continue to come out. There are still 5 areas on the turntable that have not been unlocked, and I don't know what they correspond to. This is my first time getting an amplification voucher. There's bound to be something even better next time, right? Quote, Zhou Tianao couldn't help rubbing his hands, fantasizing about getting a super lucky bag with a guaranteed minimum of 10 million. Then he could go out and brag about it and become a billionaire in minutes. The turntable started spinning again. 3, 2, 1. The pointer slowly stops. This time, it actually stopped in an area obscured by fog. Nice. Zhou Tianao was delighted and stared at the turntable, waiting for the fog to dissipate. It was as if a breeze blew across the turntable, blowing the mist above into billowing waves and retreating to the side. Gradually, the fog dissipated, revealing the contents of the area. Zhou Tianao's eyes began to move from left to right along with the fog, and he couldn't help but recite it in his mind. Real. Of. Meeting. Thanks. Zhou Tianao. Quote. When he read this, the man was stunned. You are just a system and you are playing memes, right? But when the fog completely dissipated, Zhou Tianao realized that he had not read it completely. The complete one is, I really appreciate your patronage. Zhou Tianao. 6. Quote. He's become a little numb. This broken system. He was just about to say that it was a good start and the next lucky draw would definitely be good stuff, but the system immediately gave him a thank you for patronage, slapping him in the face. I can only say that this bug system should be renamed the face-slapping system. As for the, thank you for your patronage, sign on the lucky draw wheel, Zhou Tianao thought it was pretty normal. What the hell is normal? You are the system. How can you have such a tacky option? Can you be a little more sophisticated? Can you open up the layout? What a broken system. Instead of learning the good, they learn the bad. Quote. After Zhou Tianao finished complaining, he continued to draw the lottery. There is no way. If I don't pick him, I will lose more. If I pick him, at least there is still a possibility. The turntable continues to spin. 3, 2, 1. The pointer stops. This time, it was a familiar area, a thread-bound book, which Zhou Tianao called a skill book, with 4 words underneath. Open black lens bracket random skills close black lens bracket. Instructor, I miss you so much. Quote. Zhou Tianao grinned. He had been abused twice by that devil instructor, and now he wanted to settle all the previous scores. Zhou Tianao opened a page in the skill book and glanced at the title. Open black lens bracket firearms close black lens bracket. The next moment, his vision went black, and when he reappeared, he was already in a shooting range. There are many moving and fixed targets in front of you. He turned around and saw an invisible wall of air next to him. The devil instructor was hiding behind the wall and waving at him. Zhou Tianao. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. When Zhou Tianao regained consciousness in the rental house, he was almost gritting his teeth. With the air wall blocking him, he couldn't touch the devil instructor at all. There should be a protection mechanism. Damn it, don't let me draw combat-like skills again, or you'll be in trouble. Quote. After Zhou Tianao finished speaking, he recalled the feel of various firearms and couldn't help but reminisce about them. With the help of Shenbao, he could almost ignore the recoil of the gun and only enjoy the pleasure of the eruption of firepower. After taking a look at his face-slapping value, he still had more than 7,000 left, which meant 7 chances to draw a lottery. It doesn't matter whether the others come or not for now. I'll just give them a lucky bag. Otherwise, I won't be able to afford the rent. Quote. Zhou Tianao prayed for a while and continued to draw the lottery. The turntable turns. 3, 2, 1. I really appreciate the patronage. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. 3, 2, 1. I really appreciate the patronage. Quote. 3, 2, 1. I really appreciate the patronage. Quote. That's almost it. Quote. Zhou Tianao threw the pillow to the ground with a bang, shaking with anger. He was like a gambler at the moment, always hoping to make a profit next time, but the system was determined to slap him in the face and not let him get what he wanted. Call. Zhou Tianao forced himself to calm down and not be too impulsive. The turntable continues to spin. 3, 2, 1. Open black lens bracket money lucky bag close black lens bracket. 3, 2, 1. Open black lens bracket money lucky bag. Close black lens bracket. 3, 2, 1. Open black lens bracket money lucky bag. Close black lens bracket. 3, 2, 1. Open black lens bracket money lucky bag. Close black lens bracket. Looking at the 4 lucky bags in a row, Zhou Tianao couldn't help but cover his forehead and complained. It really is all an inside job. 29. Click to expand all, please vote, please vote, please vote. There's also a lottery, it's all insider information, I really need to thank this system. Quote. After Zhou Tianao finished complaining, he opened the 4 lucky bags one by one. Give me the biggest bonus to make up for the shock I got today. Quote. He put his hands together and silently chanted, "Open," in his heart. A round cloth bag filled with overflowing gold coins appeared. Bite. A gold coin bounced out, followed by gaudy, low-quality light effects and a few large characters. Congratulations on winning 10,000 yuan. Quote. Boo tilde. The phone rang and a message appeared. X Bank, your account ending in 520 has received 10,000 yuan, with a balance of 10,023 yuan. No, system, get out of here. Are you deliberately messing with me? You're not leveling up properly, but just messing around with me every day, right? You're giving me 10,000 for a lucky bag. Do you think that's fair? Quote. Zhou Tianao cursed at the air, but it was obviously of no use, and he couldn't help feeling disappointed. The lucky bags are randomly drawn between 10,000 and 1 million. He got 100,000 the first time, and the second time it was the lowest 10,000. The difference is really big. Forget it, 10,000 is money, 10,000 is love, I don't believe I can still win the remaining few. Bang. Quote. Just as he was about to plant a flag, he immediately reacted and slapped himself to interrupt the spell. Otherwise, with the nature of this broken system, I'm afraid the flag planting will become a reality immediately. System, Chocho, please behave like a human being. Quote. Zhou Tianao prayed again, and then silently recited the lucky draw. Bite. Gold coins popped up and fell down. Congratulations on winning 70,000 yuan. Quote. Boo tilde. Bank X, your account ending in 520 has received 70,000 yuan, with a balance of 80,023 yuan. Quote. Not bad, 70,000. Quote. He remembered that he had given a note when he first used this lucky bag. The larger the amount, the smaller the probability of occurrence. It seems that my fantasy of getting millions from the lucky bag today has been completely shattered. Under the current circumstances, 200,000 is probably the limit for opening 4 lucky bags. Continue. Quote. Bite. Congratulations on winning 60,000 yuan. Quote. Boo tilde. Bank X, your account ending in 520 has received 60,000 yuan, with a balance of 140,023 yuan. Quote. Why are there fewer and fewer people opening? Quote. Zhou Tianao felt his blood pressure soaring. But after calming down, he realized that this lucky bag was a purely random thing. Unlike the lottery mechanism of some games, which is said to be truly random but is actually pseudo-random, the probability of getting good things in the lottery will gradually increase with the number of draws. There is only one lucky bag left. Zhou Tianao really couldn't understand it, even though he had read novels before. Other people's systems cost tens of millions or even hundreds of millions, and they either cost huge mansions or luxury supercars. I'm so good, asking the system for money is like begging it, I really don't know who the host is. Huh, system, if you keep doing this, you'll lose me, your excellent host. Do you understand? I'll give you a number. 1 million. Got it. Quote. He let out a long breath, recited to himself again, and then covered his eyes with his hands. Bite. Hearing a ding sound, he slowly moved his hands away from his eyes, and the winning numbers gradually came into his sight. At the beginning. Really 1 million. Quote. Zhou Tianao's heart was beating violently and his hands moved even slower. Next, just count how many zeros there are after it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wait, why is this zero a little small? Zhou Tianao took his hand away. Congratulations on winning 10,000 yuan. Quote. Zhou Tianao. Quote. System, how the hell can you move the period to the front? You are really not a human being. Hee hee. Quote. Zhou Tianao collapsed on the bed and laughed at himself. What exactly is he expecting? Ellipsis ellipsis. The sun gradually rose in the sky, casting a brilliant golden light on the horizon. At 7 a.m. on September 18, 2024, Zhou Tianao walked out of the rental house carrying his luggage and a huge sum of 150,000 yuan. He is going to rent a new house. He had already found a house through his mobile phone, which was in Fugaiyuan, 5 kilometers away from here. He had already told the landlord of the old house that he didn't want the deposit. As for why he didn't want it, it wasn't because he didn't love money, but because he stepped on a few tiles on the floor and broke them when he was catching a thief. He gets a toothache when he talks about this. He didn't step on the right place at that time. He had to step on the place where 4 bricks were connected, and he stepped on 4 bricks at a time. Considering the labor costs and the cost of tiles, he didn't even know if the deposit was enough. Fortunately, the landlord was a kind old lady who woke up at 6 in the morning. After a phone call, she told me that she just didn't want to return the deposit and asked me to keep the key and move out. To save trouble, Zhou Tianao directly called a private car. I thought it was too early to order, but someone took the order very quickly. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Zhou Tianao, after completing all the formalities, opened his new room. He put 100,000 yuan in a bank card and took out 50,000 yuan to use. He rented a duplex apartment with a small room upstairs that was just big enough for a computer. After paying the deposit and rent, Zhou Tianao still had more than 40,000 yuan left in his WeChat wallet. Looking at the brand new fully furnished house and ample cash balance, he can say that his sense of security is completely maximized. The internet here is very convenient. Once you pay, you can get fiber optic internet access directly in your room. After everything was settled, he couldn't wait to move the duplex computer worth 80,000 yuan to the second floor. The new peripherals I bought haven't arrived yet, so after assembling the computer and screen, I'm using the old keyboard for now. Woo woo woo. The host computer equipped with this performance monster rang, and the main screen and the sub-screen lit up at the same time. Since it was a new phone with only an operating system and nothing else, Zhou Tianao began to manually download some driver software and games. 10 o'clock in the morning. Zhou Tianao wore a Bluetooth headset that he bought for 30 yuan, listened to the music playing on the computer, and logged into the downloaded Goose Speed with the initial account. Byte. Quote. System upgrade completed. Quote. Details. Click to expand all. Zhou Tian was stunned for a moment before he reacted. I'm too lazy to read this crappy system anymore, he has to click on it and read it himself. After expanding, Zhou Tianao reviewed it and summarized it into the following 3 points. 1. The system interface is more beautiful. 2. The applause of slapping someone in the face is more crisp and moving. 3. The system experience is more humane. Zhou Tianao. Quote. No, just tell me what is the use of this upgrade. 12 hours just to update the skin, right? What the hell is this system upgrade and skin change? Are you kidding me? Zhou Tianao was too tired to complain when the system rang. Ding. System task released. Quote. Since Goose Speed's PR behavior is deeply despicable to this system, please release 10 bugs within 10 days to draw Goose Speed's attention. Quote. The reward for completing the mission is a second bottle of body transformation fluid. Quote. Zhou Tianao was stunned when he heard this. This system. A second bottle of body transformation fluid. Is this the humanization of the system after upgrading? What the hell is this second bottle of Shenbao? Could it be that what was said really came true? 3 bottles can make you immortal. The problem is, this is Earth. Are you sure you won't be used for human experiments if you live forever? Endless complaints echoed in Zhou Tianao's mind. But now that the system has been released, he can only complete it. To be honest, he really wanted to know what changes would happen to his body after drinking the second bottle of Shenbao. So he sat up straight and looked at the Goose Speed game interface that had opened on the screen. Eye of Disorder, open. 30. Highway 56, recommendation required. The Eye of Disorder opened, and Joe Tianao immediately entered the code space. The system's task is to release 10 bugs within 10 days. The Eye of Disorder can only be used once a day, which means one is released every day. This is easy. He just wanted to do that. As long as Goose Flying Car does not unblock his account, he will continue to release new bugs. It depends on whether your programmer is really capable and can fix bugs as fast as he releases them. He took a casual glance in the code space and saw many red light balls representing bugs. In fact, while waiting for the bugs in Ghost Run to be fixed, he figured out some things. That is to say, not all bugs will be taken seriously. The main credit for fixing the bugs in Ghost Run actually goes to the players who created the scripts. The prerequisite for catching this bug is that you have to have strong skills, otherwise it is impossible to reach that place in 1 minute and 30 seconds. The script can replicate the operation and running methods of high-end players, so that many clumsy players can easily exploit this bug, which makes the bug spread widely. If not, Joe Tianao really couldn't say how long it would take for the bug to be fixed. It may be fixed eventually, but certainly not as soon as it is now. After knowing this, he knew that if he wanted a bug to be discovered quickly, it must first be simple so that most players can do it. The second is the size of the influence. For example, among the hundreds of bugs he saw, there was a bug in the 1-star map. But I don't know how long it has been since anyone played this map. It may have been forgotten in a corner for a long time. If a bug occurs in a map like this, it will be difficult to attract official attention no matter what, because there is no need to fix it. No one plays it anyway, so why fix it? Wouldn't it be nice for him to use this time to release new cars and new skins to make money? Therefore, the next bug he is going to release should preferably meet both of these requirements. Simple and impactful. Which maps have a lot of people playing? Quote. Joe Tianao pondered over it, and suddenly an idea struck him. He turned his attention to the qualifying round. You know, ranking matches are essential for competitive gaming. The thrill of defeating others and winning the game is a great weapon for competitive games to retain players. Especially in the qualifying matches, you can earn points by winning and increase your rank in ranking. When your rank is high, others will subconsciously think that you are awesome when they see you. This is the purpose of the ranking competition. For this reason, the ranking competition attracts almost a large number of players to play, and perhaps 80 out of 100 people are playing ranked competition. The rest are players of other modes. After Joe Tianao figured it out, he immediately turned his attention to the maps that frequently appeared in the ranking matches. Soon, he chose a target. Samsung Maps, Route 56. This map is very popular in ranked matches. The technical requirements are not high, but there are many slopes in the map, and players feel like flying a plane when racing in it. Almost 60% of the time required to complete this map is spent flying in the air, which is particularly enjoyable. Therefore, Highway 56 is also known as Airstrip 56. After selecting the target, Joe Tianao touched the red light ball. Boo! The ball of light shattered, and a few simple steps appeared in his mind. If you control the car to reverse at 59 seconds, the bug of ascending on the spot will be triggered. After obtaining the bug, Joe Tianao started today's live broadcast. Because he moved to a new room, he was afraid of being recognized, so he used a bed sheet and 2 clothes hangers to cover the background that the camera could see, and then he really started the live broadcast. As soon as the show started, a barrage of comments appeared immediately. You're finally on air. Do you know how long I've been waiting for you? Quote. I've been waiting for a long time, and the broadcast is finally live. By the way, the bug you had has been fixed, and it won't get stuck anymore. Quote. Those idiot programmers fixed it so quickly. I'm impressed. It's gone before it even got stuck twice. I'm so happy. Quote. You're lucky. I bought that script, but my account got blocked. Luckily, I was smart and used a secondary account, so I didn't feel bad about it getting blocked. Quote. I'm different. I used a large account, but it wasn't blocked for long, only a month. Quote. By the way, Anchor, what kind of incredible cheat did you use to get banned for 10 years? Quote. Seeing this, Joe Tianao said angrily. Didn't I say I didn't open your letters? Quote. Letter. Quote. I believe it. Quote. I really believe it. Quote. I really believed it. Quote. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote. These bastards actually started to speak in a sarcastic way. Joe Tianao didn't expect that this wave of slaps would not hit him in the face. Wouldn't it be better for him to say something sarcastic? The system's face-slapping judgment will only be based on objective judgment. To put it bluntly, it depends on what you say rather than what you think. Since he didn't win, he didn't try to create suspense, but started the qualifying match on his own. Since it is an initial account, his rank is the lowest. You can only come across some 2-star maps, and occasionally 3-star maps. As for the 1-star map, just having hands will do. It is too simple and has not been officially included in the ranking match map. With Joe Tianao's true level, he can outrun his opponents with just one hand. And he basically crushes everyone else in every race. With the way he runs, as long as he crosses the finish line, no one else will be able to reach the finish line in the last 10 seconds. However, in order to take care of these novice players, Joe Tianao waited at the finish line until he saw someone reach the finish line before crossing the finish line. Sometimes you have to wait an extra half a minute. There is no way around it. Newbie players are so bad that they can't even understand how to run even if they follow the track instructions. Joe Tianao's actions touched many comments. He actually waited for those new players. He really made me cry. Quote. What a gentle anchor. How could such a gentle anchor cheat? I'm starting to believe him. Quote. Woo woo woo, a man with great skills and a caring heart, I love him. Quote. You'd better say that Goose Goose's racing skills are good. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. Faced with these, Joe Tianao did not pay attention to them, but focused on gaining points. In this way, with an average game time of 2 minutes, Joe Tianao spent an hour to rush from the initial bronze rank to the gold rank. This is the most complex and crowded rank in almost all games. At this time, 2-star maps were no longer found, and a large number of 3-star maps and a small number of 4-star maps began to appear. At this level, you can basically meet players of some skill level. But it was just a little bit. In front of Joe Tianao, he could only be beaten. However, in order to take care of them, he will still wait for them at the finish line. He does not think that he will stop taking care of them because their ranks are higher. After all, even if they reach the gold level, the gap in their strength is still huge. When it came to the 5th round of the gold division, the system randomly selected a map from the gallery. Highway 56. The game started quickly, and Joe Tianao was still in the lead. However, as he was running, he suddenly stopped, and the vehicle seemed to be out of control and hit the outer wall. What's going on? What happened to the anchor? Quote. Oh no. Could the anchor have died suddenly? This sudden, uncontrolled symptom is incredibly difficult to manage without some unexpected circumstances. Quote. Holy crap. Is this true? The live stream is still going on, so the internet shouldn't be down, right? Is the streamer really dead? Quote. Everyone, call Yao Yaoling. Quote. Just as the barrage was about to rescue the anchor, the time in the game reached 59 seconds. Clatter. A keyboard sound was heard, and the car on the screen, which had stopped due to hitting the wall, took a step back. The next moment, the entire map shook, and the racing car on the screen took off and flew out as if it was equipped with an anti-gravity device. Barrage. 31. The potential of the bug zone anchor, seeking recommendations and monthly tickets. The moment when Joe Tianao's car took off into the sky. The picture is shocking. Barrage is stupid. Because it was morning, the live broadcast room was not very popular, with only more than 1,000 views, which was equivalent to only about 100 or 200 people. But even so, dozens of comments popped up at once, making it quite lively. Quote question mark question mark question mark. WTF. Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark question mark question mark. Ah. Quote. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. 666. Reverse great heaven. Quote. What the hell? What did I see? What the hell is going on? Quote. It's ascended to heaven. His car has ascended to heaven. What the hell is this? Quote, streamer, are you online again? Your account was just blocked and you're online again. Isn't that too arrogant? Quote, that's blatant. Isn't the anchor planning to keep his secondary account? Quote, oh my goodness, is the anchor planning to fight the authorities to the end? Quote, awesome, this host is a real man. I've switched from hater to fan. I'm following him. Quote, what kind of cheat is this, streamer? Can you send me one? I want to ascend to heaven right here too. Quote, +1+1, I want one too. Quote, me too. Ellipsis ellipsis. Facing the barrage of questions, Joe Tianao grinned and suddenly spoke into the microphone in panic. Holy shit. Didn't you hear me just now? I think my internet is down. Also, what's going on? Why am I flying? Quote, barrage. Quote, all the comments were stunned. Isn't this caused by you cheating? But Joe Tianao's surprise made them skeptical. Is it really an accident? Because more than 60% of the map of No. 56 itself is gliding through the air, many of the map designs are smooth roads with no obstacles in the middle. After he rose to a certain height, he formed a parabola and headed straight for the finish line. And because it was in the air, the speed, which was originally a maximum of 300 or 400 yards on the ground, was directly increased to more than 1,000 yards. This directly shortened the time required for the remaining journey, which originally took about a minute. As a result, he took off from the spot and ran straight to the finish line. The whole process took only more than 20 seconds to complete. This time he couldn't wait for other players because he couldn't stop the car at all in the air. Because he flew so high, he didn't even see the finish line and crossed the finish line in the air to complete the race. Only then did he take his hands off the keyboard and pretend to be at a loss. What the hell is going on here? Does anyone understand what's going on in this comment? Can you explain it to me? Quote, when they heard him say this, the barrage of comments suddenly became excited, and most of them thought he was pretending to be stupid and wanted to expose him. I've actually seen people cheating on the spot. Streamer, stop pretending. Expect your account to be banned. Quote, the streamer is so good at pretending to be unaware of the cheating that he's using. He's really good at covering his ears and stealing the bell. Quote, host, you said it wasn't a cheat when you were stuck on a bug. I believed you because I saw the principle. The car getting stuck in the wall might be a problem with the racing car model, but how do you explain this? Quote, yes, I'm a programmer. I've never seen a bug this bad except for cheats. And it can still be used to boost the system. And you're pretending not to know. You're really just bragging. Quote, tisk tisk, the anchor has met an expert. Now he's been slapped in the face, right? Quote, ha ha ha, I still like the host's rebellious look. Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. I really don't know what you are talking about. Quote, Joe Tianao's bewildered voice rang out. Then, he said in a very unyielding tone, if you don't believe me, I'll give you another try. Quote, after saying that, he created a room, selected the Route 56 inches map, and started the game. Soon, he was explaining while controlling the car. Look, I really don't know what happened. I just lost control of my internet connection. Quote, right here. I'm telling you, I was like this when my last account was blocked. I suddenly lost control. Quote, at this point, his car had already reached the position where it took off in the previous game. Because of his different running style, he arrived here a few seconds earlier this time. It's right here. I just now suddenly couldn't move here. Quote, then, Joe Tianao parked the car here and pretended to explore what had just happened. The barrage became more and more confusing the more I read it. Is it true that the anchor is not cheating? Was everything just a coincidence? Is this okay? Is this all just a coincidence? Quote, Joe Tianao parked his car on the spot and spoke with a voice full of doubts. The barrage also began to believe his words. But the scene just now was so shocking that many comments were unwilling to believe that it was a bug. I still think this should be a cheat. Quote, I think so too. Normally, bugs wouldn't be this outrageous. It ascended to heaven on the spot. Quote, honestly, if you hadn't crossed the finish line, I would have believed it, but you did. Isn't cheating all about winning? How can you justify this? Quote, indeed, that makes sense. I'll hang out with you if you have more words. Quote, Anchor, if you don't confess, we promise not to report you. Quote. Unless I can't help it. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. I really didn't cheat, why don't you believe me? Quote. Joe Tianao's voice was full of confusion. At this time, the timer reached 58 seconds, and his hand was just on the down-pointing arrow key of the keyboard. Clatter. Amidst the barrage of questions and the host's defense, the car on the screen seemed to have slipped backwards a bit, seemingly without the handbrake on. In an instant, the vehicle soared into the sky again along with the shaking map. Fuck. Why is it flying again? Quote. Joe Tianao suddenly shouted, drawing everyone in the live broadcast room's attention to the game. The cars on the screen were performing the same scenes as in the qualifying race just now. Ascend to heaven on the spot. At this moment, everyone realized that this might really be another bug. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. 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 Ellipsis ellipsis. In front of the screen, Joe Tianao, who was grinning from ear to ear, quickly restrained his emotions and pretended to be very proud. Look, I told you, I'm not cheating. This is a bug. It really is a bug. Quote. Now, the barrage of comments that witnessed the recurrence of the bug stopped refuting the anchor and began to remain silent. Some even began to apologize. Sorry, host, I misunderstood you. Quote. I'm sorry, anchor. I didn't mean to accuse you of cheating. Quote. Anchor, I have withdrawn the report. I can't withdraw this. I'm sorry, anchor. Please give me a follow and a reward. Quote. User 48437 gave a crystal ball as a reward. A crystal ball is worth 100 yuan, and Joe Tianao got 50 yuan for it, which is quite sincere. It's okay. I almost thought I was open. Quote. Joe Tianao seemed very generous, and then he discussed the bug with the barrage. This bug can be triggered twice, which means it must be a fixed bug, not a coincidence. How about we try to find the method to trigger the bug? Quote. His words immediately aroused the interest of the barrage. Okay, I love studying these fancy things the most. Quote. Okay, this can be considered a game, and it's a dimensionality reduction attack style, which is my favorite. Quote. Ha, even though I don't understand this, if I can use it to do something interesting, then why wouldn't I? Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. Ha, this bug is destined for me. Do you think I have the potential to be a bug zone streamer? Quote. Joe Tianao laughed, clicked his mouse, and started a new game of Route 56. 32. Re-engraving operation, please recommend and vote for monthly ticket. When the game started, Joe Tianao led the attention of the barrage and began to look for how the bug was caused. Right here. Tell me, where did that bug come from? Quote. This time, Joe Tianao deliberately controlled the car to move around in other places. Even after 59 seconds, he still couldn't trigger the bug. At this time, some smart comments began to speak. Anchor, you chose the wrong location. It's not here. Quote. Yes, I saw it twice. It's not this place. It seems to be the shortcut in the middle of the 6th slope. Quote. It's not like, it's exactly that place. I saw it clearly twice. Quote. The shortcut in the middle of the 6th slope. Really? Then I'll give it a try. Quote. Joe Tianao humbly listened to the advice of the barrage, controlled the car, and came to the place where the barrage mentioned the bug had occurred the previous 2 times. But this time, he wandered around here for a long time but couldn't find the bug. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. No, why is that? Quote. Joe Tianao, who secretly received a wave of face-slapping points, looked very confused. At this time, the barrage began to point fingers again. Not that position, a little further forward. Quote. Yes, not here. Quote. Just a little bit. Quote. So Joe Tianao followed the instructions and drove the car over. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value plus. Quote. Bang. Slap value plus. Quote. It still doesn't work. Quote. Hey, someone who understands, is barrage working? Quote. Joe Tianao curled his lips and mocked the comments. Now many comments are getting excited. The appearance of a bug requires a lot of thought. I probably missed it just now. I might need to try again. Quote, yes, I suggest the streamer replay the first 2 games twice to remember all the details, and then it will be better to check it again. Quote, that's what I think. Quote, ellipsis. Yeah, I watched the video, I didn't expect that, you guys are awesome. Quote, Joe Tianao didn't expect that the barrage actually revealed details that he couldn't imagine. Goose Racing has a background recording function, and each game will be automatically recorded after the game is completed. If it wasn't for the comment, he would have almost forgotten that this game had this feature. Sure enough, the saying that there is strength in numbers is not just talk. Without saying much, he quit the game, found the game video and opened it. Let's see, it was almost right here when I suddenly lost my internet connection. Quote, Joe Tianao suddenly seemed to remember something and said, that's not right. I was online even when I got here. What's going on? Quote, his words confused the commentators. Many comments couldn't help but complain. Damn it, why does watching a live broadcast early in the morning feel like doing research? Quote, yeah, I'm running out of ideas. Maybe there's no bug at all, and those 2 flights were just accidents. Quote, how do I know why the internet was disconnected just now but is still working? Are you the anchor and I am the anchor? Quote, ellipsis. In contrast, Joe Tianao appears very patient. He watched the recordings of the 2 games repeatedly, and suddenly asked tentatively. Do you think this has something to do with the timing? Quote, look, the bug occurred at the 59-second mark in both the first and second games. Quote, seeing that he came up with ideas so quickly, many people who like research also began to express their opinions. In other words, only when we reach this location at this time can the bug be triggered. Quote, it's very likely that the more complex the triggering conditions for a bug are, the easier it is to trigger it, because it makes it more complicated for the programs to connect to each other, which makes it more likely for problems to occur. Quote, that's my opinion, too. Quote, ellipsis. Then I'll try again right away. Quote, Joe Tianao excitedly restarted the game like a 260-month-old child who got a new toy. This time, he grasped the timing and arrived at this location ahead of time under the gaze of the barrage. The next step is to wait for 59 seconds to arrive. Everyone is full of anticipation at this moment. It's like finding the solution to a math problem, suddenly realizing the solution, and then picking up a pen to write down the calculation process behind the solution, which makes you full of motivation to get the answer. There are 5 seconds left until 59 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take off. Quote, Joe Tianao shouted, and everyone stared at the screen. But disappointingly, there was no movement of the vehicle on the screen, only the timer exceeded 59 seconds and kept ticking away. No, what's going on? Why can't it fly? Quote, Joe Tianao was disappointed, and the comments were all very discouraging. When expectations are dashed, it's like solving a math problem and finding out the answer is wrong. All the previous steps are in vain, and all the energy is drained away in an instant. Don't waste your energy. Both times were just coincidences. If it doesn't work, it won't work. Quote, yeah, there's no fixed way to fix bugs. A lot of times they're just coincidences. There's no fixed way to fix them. Quote, there's really no need to waste time. Are you just wasting time? Quote, ellipsis. What the hell is this about free hours? I haven't even signed a contract, so how can I get free hours? Are you responsible for paying me? Quote, Joe Tianao said unhappily. No, I have to find this bug today. You can watch it or not. Quote, the host's stubbornness left a good impression on the barrage, but there were both praises and criticisms. Well done, host. We should be like you in doing things, persevering and moving forward courageously. Quote, keep going, anchor. I'm confident you'll find the bug and benefit everyone. Quote, alas, many times, if you don't push yourself, you won't realize how useless you are. Quote, many things can be accomplished if you push yourself, but it's like doing a math problem. You can't do it even if you push yourself to death. So stop struggling. Quote, ellipsis. I don't care, I'm going to find it out. Quote, Joe Tianao was extremely stubborn and turned on the video again. At this moment, he suddenly had a flash of inspiration and said, "No, this is all recorded. Why don't I just copy the video completely and do it again?" Quote. As soon as he said this, many people who really wanted to know how the bug came about praised him in the comments. 666. Why didn't I think of that? Quote. Yeah, as long as the bug really exists, we can just replicate the same operation. Quote. Could it be that the host is really a genius at finding bugs? Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. After saying that, he immediately turned on the video and started comparing the two. Look here. Quote. Suddenly, he shrunk the two video windows, placed one on the left and one on the right on the desktop, and then clicked the play button. Two identical images started playing at the same time, and at this moment there was just 1 or 2 seconds left before 59 seconds. The next moment, the same operation appeared on two screens. The two cars lost control at the same time and crashed into the outer wall. When 59 seconds came, they moved back a little bit and then flew into the sky. Fuck. Exactly the same operation. Quote. It really works. Hurry up, host. How do you do this? Quote. Hint. Keywords, hit the wall, retreat, 59 seconds, these should be triggered at the same time. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. This tip makes a lot of sense. I'll give it a try. Quote. Hit the wall, back off, all at once for 59 seconds, right? Quote. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Quote. Pretending to have finished memorizing, he started playing Highway 56 inches again. 33. Still want to get off work? Please recommend and give me a monthly ticket. Re-enter Highway 56. After arriving at the shortcut to the 6th slope ahead of time, the time came to 54 seconds. Joe Tianao stopped the car and said, "All conditions are in place, ready for testing." Quote. The 3-second countdown begins. 3. Quote. 2. Quote. 1. Quote. Back off. Quote. When the time was up, Joe Tianao pressed the back button under the gaze of all the comments. The next moment, everyone saw the car on the screen slide back. Immediately, the screen began to shake violently, and the vehicle suddenly shot up into the sky again like a fired cannonball. The barrage was instantly in uproar. Holy crap. It actually stuck. Awesome. Quote. 666. Streamer, you understand bugs. You can even figure out the principle behind this. I'm impressed. Quote. Ha 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 ha, you're awesome, streamer. You just created a bug yesterday, and right after it was fixed, you created another one right away. I think the game developers are going crazy. Quote. Hurry up, host, try again. I want to edit it into a video and send it out. Quote. I want to see it again, I want to see it again. Quote. I want to see it too. The feeling of creating a bug yourself versus one that appears by chance is completely different. It's so cool. Quote. That's right, it's really fun, this is what playing games is like. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. Seeing you're so enthusiastic, I'll try again. Quote. Seeing that his purpose of spreading the bug had been achieved, Joe Tianao reluctantly restarted the game. Have you guys started recording yet? I'm about to begin. Quote. Okay. Everything is ready. Quote. We can begin now. Quote. Drive quickly. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. Under the recording of the barrage, Joe Tianao made the car fly into the sky again, and then prepared to end the live broadcast. By the way, I think bugs are really fun now. If you encounter any bugs when playing games in the future, remember to send them to me in a private message. I will make a video or show it in a live broadcast. If the bug is adopted by me, you can get a reward. Quote. Joe Tianao said these things to pave the way for the bugs that will appear in the next 9 days, so as to avoid the source of the bugs being unexplained. Okay. Is the reward generous? Quote. It wasn't a slap, was it? Quote. Even if it's just a slap, you have to find the bug first. Quote. That seems to make sense. Quote. After chatting with the barrage for a while, Joe Tianao turned off the live broadcast. This live broadcast lasted for almost 2 hours, helping him gain nearly 500 or 600 face-slapping points. Because it was broadcast in the morning, its popularity has not been very high. It was already 12 o'clock noon. Let's order takeout. Quote. Zhou Tianao opened his phone and ordered a deluxe version of hand-pulled pancake and a cup of sugar-free milk tea. Since there are many shops around the community, things are delivered to the door quickly. After eating the scallion pancake and taking 2 sips of milk tea, he began to feel sleepy. Because of Shenbao, he hasn't slept since last night. But no matter how healthy one's body is, staying awake all the time will make one tired, and now he feels drowsy. Sleep, sleep, your life is more important. Quote. After washing up quickly, Zhou Tianao went to bed to rest. Goose Speed Racing Studio. Technical Department. Last night, after fixing the bug in Ghost in the Sky, it was already midnight. They had such a great time chatting that it went on till late at night. For safety reasons, they decided to spend the night at the company. As a programmer, it is very common to have to stay up all night, so everyone basically has a blanket in their closet that they can cover themselves with to keep warm. So, in the early morning of that day, the man flattened his ergonomic chair and the woman rested on the leather sofa. I slept almost until noon. The bright sunlight shone through the gaps in the curtains, creating a dazzling line of light on many employees. Some people are unlucky and happen to be illuminated in the eyes, and they wake up from their dreams quickly. The movement of one person woke up the others one after another, and yawns began to echo on the technical department floor. This sleep feels more comfortable than sleeping at home. Quote. A programmer looked at his colleague next to him rubbing his eyes and couldn't help but stretching. Yeah, maybe I've been alone for too long, so I feel safer with so many people around. Quote. The colleague on the other side also agreed with a smile. Sorry, I have a girlfriend, we are talking about completely different things. Quote. Quote question mark. Quote. Soon, almost everyone was awake. After a quick wash and lunch in the cafeteria, they started their work for the day. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We've basically finished the new version, and there's not much else to do next, just some simple testing. Quote. Yeah, we just need to submit the test data and make sure there are no major issues. Quote. Since we don't have anything to do, why don't we ask our supervisor for permission to leave work early? Quote. Someone stretched his muscles and complained. My chair is too hard. My back and waist are sore from sleeping on it. I didn't sleep well. I want to go back and catch up on some sleep. Quote. Hearing this, many people's eyes lit up. Although not everyone did not sleep well, who wouldn't want to leave work early? I think it's a good idea, let's do it. Quote. Okay, I didn't sleep well either. Quote. Yes, that's feasible. Quote. After finding a reason, everyone discussed who should go to talk to the supervisor Shen Lei. Just when someone was about to volunteer, the door of the technical department was suddenly opened. Shen Lei, with his thick hair that swayed slightly when he walked in amid everyone's envious gazes. Everyone was delighted to see this. Speak of the devil and he will appear. They were just about to look for him, but now there was no need. Seeing this, someone immediately stepped forward and said with a smile. Supervisor, the work on the new version has been completed. No one at the company got a good rest last night, so we'd like to leave work early and go back to catch up on some sleep. Is that okay with you? Quote. As soon as this person spoke, Shen Lei had already walked in front of them. At this time, everyone realized that Shen Lei's expression was not right, even a little ugly. Everyone was stunned. What happened? Still want to get off work? Quote. Shen Lei glanced at him, walked to the side, turned on the big screen, connected his mobile phone, and played a Bilibili video. At the beginning of the video, the screen shows the company's own game Goose Racing. In the video, the host created a room and chose Route 56, which is a very popular map and also their masterpiece. I still remember when this image was designed, everyone laughed so hard that they said we should change the name to Goose Plane. In the end, this image became very popular and was used very frequently. Quote. A programmer laughed, and the others also smiled knowingly. This was the happiness they once had. Still laughing. Quote. Shen Lei shook his head unhappily and continued playing the video. No one present understood why Shen Lei was unhappy and could only continue watching the video. In the video, the host controlled the car and suddenly stopped when it came to the shortcut of the 6th turn. What's going on? Why aren't you running away? Quote, just as everyone was still thinking about the answer to this question, the car on the screen suddenly shook, and in their puzzled eyes, it soared high into the sky. Everyone. 34. Really arrogant, please recommend and vote. After seeing the racing car soaring into the sky, everyone except Shenlei was stunned. What the hell? What the hell is this? Is this cheating? Quote, it must be opened. It would be impossible to do it without it. Quote, I think so too. Quote, as they talked, their voices became quieter, and finally they all fell silent. They are not ordinary people who know nothing, but programmers with outstanding abilities. They have much more knowledge than the average person, otherwise they wouldn't be able to do this job. So when they saw the video, they were surprised and confused at first, and then they soon realized something. It is not impossible to cheat. But more likely it is a fact that they are unwilling to face. Because they know clearly. In the world of bugs, nothing is impossible. Going up to the sky and into the ground, punching through the mold and blowing up the machine are all basic operations. What's more, they dominate a region and are invincible. To put it simply, some bugs are so powerful, like a dominant overlord, that once you try to fix them, the entire program will crash. Instead, the program will run fine without the fix. Therefore, in their eyes, the scenes in the video only made them feel surprised for a moment. I am more afraid of the subsequent bug fixes. You know, they have just escaped from a bug quagmire. This fucking stick was swung back at them, who can withstand it? After the video ended, Shenlei glanced at everyone present and sighed. I know what you're thinking, but I've also said that if you eat this meal, you have to pay the price for it. This is what you should do and it's your responsibility. Quote, luckily I discovered this bug early. Otherwise, if it continues to spread, what happened yesterday will happen again, and this time no one will be able to escape. Do you still want your year-end bonus? Quote, after saying this, seeing that everyone was still unhappy, Shenlei frowned and said, I'll apply for double overtime compensation for you. Come on, the sooner you fix it, the sooner you can go home. Quote, if there are people at home, please call home first to let them know so that they don't worry. Quote, after hearing this, the programmers present all relaxed their expressions. Everyone, cheer up. It's not a big deal. Think about how bad it was when we were developing the game. We only slept a few hours a day. We managed to get through that time. Why should we be afraid of such a small thing? Quote, some people began to speak up to cheer their colleagues up. That's right. With our strength, it's just a bug, right? We can just deal with it. Quote, that's right, this bug doesn't seem complicated. If we focus on it and concentrate our efforts, we'll definitely be able to solve it quickly. Quote, after some encouragement, everyone cheered up and stopped being dejected. Instead, they started to study ways to fix the bug. Soon, after a preliminary analysis of the principle of the root 56 inches bug, everyone gathered together to start analyzing. Compared to the previous one, this bug is much simpler. The previous one triggered so many conditions at the same time and required very high requirements, but this one is very simple. Quote, every bug is different. How can you compare them? The more you learn, the more you regress. Quote, I looked at the code corresponding to the bug. The location selection in their video is redundant. The error will only occur if the vehicle is reversed at a specific time. Quote, that's much easier. We just need to fix these two items so they don't conflict. Quote, theory is feasible, now let's start practicing. Let's go for it. Quote, come on, come on. Go home early. Quote, come on. Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. After sorting out their thoughts, everyone divided the work, returned to their respective positions, and began to repair their own parts. Ellipsis ellipsis. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Zhou Tianao got out of bed. I glanced at the time and found that I had slept for 8 hours. He slept soundly but not sweetly. Because sleeping during the day goes against his biological clock and disrupts his rhythm, when he wakes up he doesn't feel as refreshed as when he went to bed early and got up early. But his body quickly adjusted to the discomfort, and the uncomfortable feeling disappeared instantly. You still have to go to bed early and get up early and have a regular sleep schedule. Quote, Zhou Tianao sighed, saying that although his body is no longer the same as before, he is still affected by these things. I can only hope that the arrival of the second bottle of Shenbao will bring him more surprises. Gurgle gurgle. His stomach rumbled, hunger gripped him, and Zhou Tianao picked up his coat, ready to go out for dinner. It's better to eat less takeout food. Although he is no longer worried about it physically, he still feels a little bothered in his heart. I don't know if that bug has been fixed yet. Quote. Zhou Tianao picked up his phone, opened Bilibili, and began searching for the bug that had been spread through his live broadcast today. Click on the search bar and enter, Goose Speed Bug, and dozens of videos will pop up. Some directly release the bug demonstration video, and some are clips of his live broadcast content. The most popular video has been played 500,000 times and has thousands of comments, which is standard for a minor hit video. He clicked on the comment section, but instead of looking at the popular comments, he clicked on the order in which the comments were sorted. There were several options below. Newly released, many likes, many reposts. He clicked on the new post and immediately saw the latest comments. So cool. Immediately ascending to heaven. In the qualifying match, if I encounter this map, I will be first. Doghead smiles. Time. 1 minute ago. 1 like, 0 dislike, 0 repost. When Zhou Tianao saw this comment, he knew that unless the comment was bragging, the bug had not been fixed yet. It's been nearly 9 hours since he posted the video, and the bug is still there. Is he planning to wait until the next day to fix it? How arrogant. Quote. Zhou Tianao couldn't help but sigh, as expected of a programmer like White Goose. Isn't he afraid that the bug will continue to spread and cause greater losses to the company? After thinking about it, Zhou Tianao felt that the white-bellied goose did not seem to be short of money. But it's only the first day, and he will continue to release 9 bugs, no matter how arrogant they are. When the game is in tatters, they will know that it is time to take it seriously. The video in which his account was mistakenly blocked has not been deleted yet, but no one has watched it at all. This is the internet. Without popularity, it won't make any waves at all. As long as the bug continues to appear, the game officials will definitely trace the source, so that the fact that his account was mistakenly blocked will be taken seriously and unblocked. At this time, they arrived at the destination for dinner. Zhou Tianao got out of the car, stood on the side of the road, looked at the big sign above his head, and couldn't help swallowing. The aroma of cumin tilde. Barbecue Food Street, here he comes. Ellipsis ellipsis. Goose Speed Racing Studio. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, from the office building, which had become quiet at night, there were several sounds of desks being smashed, followed by several roars. Fuck. What the hell is this bug? It looks simple, but it actually affects the entire map. This is more work than developing a new version. Quote. No wonder the map trembles when the bug appears. This is the reason. I can't take it anymore. This is killing me. Quote. I can't take it anymore. I've been sitting in front of the computer for almost 20 hours straight. I'm about to throw up. I can't take it anymore. Quote. Listening to the wailing of his employees, Shen Lei, who had been accompanying them, lowered his gaze from the ceiling, covered his forehead and said helplessly. First, ban the map and don't allow players to use it. I'll fix it later when I have time, otherwise you'll all go crazy. 35. Senluo Canyon, please recommend and vote for me. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. Quote. Zhou Tianao, who had just ordered the skewers, suddenly received a wave of slaps in the face and was immediately confused. The face slapping value is not much, only a few dozen, but he didn't seem to do anything. Who got slapped in the face by him? After thinking for a long time, Zhou Tianao waited for the barbecue to arrive and simply started eating it. In the past, he basically didn't dare to order too much meat when eating barbecue, but now there are only a few vegetarian dishes on the table. There was roast lamb, roast beef, roast kidneys, and roast oysters, all of which he could only order one at most before. He took a bite of meat and a sip of wine, his mouth full of oil. Because he came with an empty stomach, he had an amazing appetite and quickly finished most of the food. He spent the rest of the meal on a drink and snack while browsing his phone. Zhou Tianao usually has the habit of reading novels. After watching a few videos, he clicked on his own novel software. After finishing the novel he was following, he habitually started looking for other novels that could attract him. At this moment, he suddenly saw a new book. It had only 10,000 words and was just published yesterday. The title of the book is, After Rebirth, I Created an Ideal Gaming Empire. The name immediately attracted him. After clicking in, the content of the first chapter was very much to his liking. The story begins with the protagonist being persecuted by his superiors in a gaming company and being reborn. After his rebirth, he discovers that although the world here has a developed internet, the understanding of games only remains at the age of video games. Seeing this, the protagonist decisively resigned, no longer suffering from the oppression of his superiors, and began to make his own games based on his understanding of games in his previous life. Although the game was a bit crude at first, it quickly became popular due to its creativity in online games, and then it disappeared, and the author is still writing. Not bad, I'll save it and give you the recommended votes I saved. Quote, after Joe Tiano added the book to his list of follow-up updates, he thought about it again and recharged the novel software with 1,000 yuan. The recharge ratio of the software is 1 to 100, and he immediately received a reward amount of 100,000. He first gave the book a reward of 50,000, and then commented, "The book is very good, I'll give it to you as a reward. If you add more chapters, there will be rewards." Quote, as a result, just as he finished commenting and was about to quit, he suddenly found that the book had been updated. New chapter title, A New Era of Gaming. Additional chapter for Haoshan Boss. Closing parenthesis. Haoshan is the name of his novel software. Good fellow, you're just squatting here with your saved manuscripts, right? Quote, this kind of update speed is beyond human power, so the author must have some manuscripts saved. He smiled and shook his head, keeping his word, and donated the remaining 50,000 yuan to this book, commenting, write well, and don't become a eunuch in the palace. Quote, after making the comment, he finished reading the chapter and found it still very much to his liking, and then prepared to quit. But a pop-up window suddenly appeared on the novel software. He took a look and found that someone had replied to his comment. He clicked on it and found that it was the author. Don't worry, ha ha ha, I won't be a eunuch. After all, I don't have that ability. Quote, Joe Tianao was stunned for a moment, but quickly realized that the author was actually a girl. Interesting. He smiled slightly and exited the novel software. Ellipsis. When I got home, it was already midnight. Because he slept for too long during the day, he didn't feel sleepy at all. Considering that there were still system tasks to be done and the Eye of Disorder had been refreshed, he simply turned on the computer and prepared to look for new bugs. After opening the Goose Speeder, he silently said in his heart, Eye of Disorder, open. Quote, the screen in front of me disappeared, and my sight entered a space full of complex codes. He had figured out the idea of finding bugs yesterday. 2 conditions were required, simple operation and strong spreadability. Soon, he found another map that was second only to Route 56 in popularity and was also a frequent visitor to ranked matches. This Samsung map is called Senluo Canyon. This is a primeval forest-style map. The track is designed between giant trees and vines. Running on it feels like playing in a primeval forest, and it is deeply loved by players. Then, he touched the relevant red ball of light, and a few simple steps appeared in his mind. Rushing into the tree hole of the giant tree at the 7th bend in Senro Canyon will trigger a clipping bug. After knowing the bug, Joe Tianao immediately played it himself. After entering the map, when he came to the 7th bend, the roots of the giant tree in front of him seemed to have been hollowed out, with a huge tree hole. Joe Tianao didn't hesitate and directly controlled the car to accelerate and rush in. As soon as he entered, the tree hole in front of him, which was originally covered with moss, suddenly turned black. The green scene seemed to be neatly cut in half turned black, and the other half was still the scenery on the map, but it was quickly receding as he moved forward. Good boy, he went straight outside the map. Quote, after saying that, he made a graceful turn and braked, and suddenly he saw that it was pitch black in the depths of his body, and not far ahead was a primeval forest that seemed to be in the void. That was the module of Senro Canyon, and he had passed through the tree hole and directly went out of the module. After successfully detecting the bug, Joe Tianao opened the screen recording software on his computer and restarted the game. After recording the process of how the bug was stuck again, he opened the editing software again, spent some time adding subtitles and dubbing, and finally added the title. Netizen submission, Goose Speed Car, Senluo Canyon, clipping bug. Single quote. Considering that it is still early, not many people will read it if it is released. Moreover, releasing bugs late at night will make people feel that it is too deliberate. You stay awake in the middle of the night to study bugs, right? So he scheduled the video to be released at 7 a.m. After doing all this, today's system tasks are basically completed. At that time, he only needs to pay attention to whether the video has been played and whether the bug has been spread. If not, given his current popularity in live streaming, although it is not very high, it is not low either. He can just start another live streaming and demonstrate again how to fix the bug. After closing Goose Racing, he thought about it and downloaded another game platform. There were many kinds of games on this platform, some free and some paid. Now that his computer has top-notch configuration, it is impossible for him to continue playing only the Goose Racing game. He must expand his game. Soon, he set his sights on a game that was said to be losing popularity but remained popular for more than 10 years. The name of the game was Summoners League. This is a tower defense battle game. When I was in college, the only people around me were boys with computers, and almost half of them were playing this game, which shows how popular it is. And he actually played it a long time ago, but eventually gave up. There was no way out. His computer configuration was not good enough. It was not that he could not play the game, but it was very laggy. When playing in a team, he had to watch PPT, which was very torturous for him. In the end, he could not stand it anymore and had to give up. Now, he wants to pick up this game again and find the fun of the past again. After downloading Summoners League, it was already 2 o'clock in the morning. Joe Tianao, who was not sleepy at all, started a match with great anticipation. He could not play ranked games yet because his level was not high enough. Matching successful, loading the game, loading successfully. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 36. Real Master, please recommend, collect and vote for me. Since he had played it before and had a basic foundation, Joe Tianao was able to get started quickly even though he hadn't played it for a long time. In order to practice in the first game, he chose a simpler hero. But he found that the other party was unexpectedly even worse than him, and the whole process felt like he was just shopping. He didn't let him off and killed him immediately. Soon, with his understanding of the game and extraordinary talent, he established a huge advantage. The essence of this game is a tower-pushing game, so he quickly began to take advantage and destroy the opponent's defense tower. But soon the opponent's teammates came to stop him, and the two of them chased him together. But the advantage Joe Tianao had at that time was completely beyond their imagination, so he turned around and killed both of them. Gradually, his advantage became so great that no one on the opposite side could stop him. And he almost cleared the entire level, even taking down several opposing defense towers, all the way to the location where the enemy characters resurrected, also known as the enemy high ground. There is a summoner crystal guarded by the enemy. You can win the game by breaking the crystal. So, he wandered back and forth on the enemy's high ground like a god of war, killing gods and Buddhas. The opponents turned around and ran away when they saw him, not daring to look at him, and even gave up the crystal. In this way, Joe Tianao won the match with a crushing advantage. Since the qualifying match requires level 30, he is only level 25 now, which is accumulated from his previous play, so he needs to reach level 5 more to qualify. And it will probably take another 7 or 8 matches to reach level 30. If a game lasts about half an hour. To be honest, he doesn't really want to play the match. After the match, he could not get points to improve his rank, but could only gain experience and gain coins, which greatly affected his desire to play the game. How about buying an account? Quote, Joe Tianao suddenly remembered that game accounts have now been legally defined as personal property, and property can be traded, so the market in this area is now very mature. With legal support, once you buy something, it's yours and you don't have to worry about it being retrieved. Your safety is guaranteed. Zhou Tianao immediately downloaded an account trading software on his mobile phone. After quickly registering an account, he began to screen Summoners League accounts in the account trading market. Because this game is very popular, there are hundreds of accounts for him to choose from with just a search, so there is a lot of choice. But he is not short of money at all now, so he can buy a top-notch account. Soon, he picked an account worth 8,000 yuan. There is no level limit in Summoners League, so the level of this account is as high as level 1,500, and it was sold by a veteran player. A high level comes with all characters and more than 80% of the character skins. Many skins are even out of print and cannot be bought even if you have money. You can show them off to fellow gamers. That's it. Quote, because the owner of the account has already handed over the matters of buying and selling the account to the platform, he only needs to give the money to the platform as if shopping on Taobao, and the platform will send the account to him like shipping goods. And since it is a virtual product, it can be shipped directly online. Even if it is 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, the platform can still ship it automatically. Press your finger on the screen, the fingerprint verification is successful, and the payment is successful. The platform automatically shipped the goods after receiving the money and sent him the account and password directly. There is also some verification information bound to personal identity, which is necessary to prevent account loss. It's quite troublesome to make an account. Quote, after Zhou Tianao finished everything, he found that it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. He logged out of the account that originally belonged to him and then logged into the newly purchased account. When the game loads, the game loads. After taking a look at all the information of the account, including the level, skin, and character, and finding that everything was fine, Zhou Tianao started the ranked match. This account hasn't played ranked games for a long time, so he can only play ranked games now, and he has to start from the beginning to climb the ranks, which is equivalent to a novice entering the game. Soon, the first qualifying match was loaded. Despite his low rank, he still managed to kill a lot of enemies. Moreover, he did not just mindlessly kill fish. Instead, he would think about the game's mechanics and gameplay, and eventually figure out his own way of playing. This has been his consistent thinking since he started playing games. In his opinion, what is a true master in a competitive game? An ordinary master must be someone who has a faster reaction than an ordinary person and can reach a very high level through operation. This kind of master relies entirely on talent. But once he gets older and his reaction speed declines, he will immediately fall from a high level and will never be able to recover in his lifetime. But a true master won't do that, because a true master has both skills and awareness. What consciousness contains can be summarized in 2 words: everything. The more your mind can accommodate, the more you can do in the game that others can't. The most typical examples are the top professional players in major professional competitions. With their strong skills, they are well versed in the game's mechanics and gameplay. Only in this way can they be at ease and respond to changes with constancy no matter what situation they face. As far as he knows, there are some veteran players in the current professional arena of Summoners League, who, despite their age, have still become top players by relying on their top awareness. From this perspective, awareness is even more important than operation. This is Zhou Tianao's understanding and attitude towards the game. It turns out that this method is very effective. He used this method to play goose racing. He would study the track to see if there were any shortcuts. Even if there were no shortcuts, he would study whether he could reach the finish line faster by taking the left or right side of the track. When racing at the same level, these are the key factors that determine victory or defeat. That's why he can become the driving god admired by everyone in the racing group. With this conscious self-training, Zhou Tianao became more and more familiar with the game, and his operations became more and more exaggerated, even to the point of being dazzling. Zhou Tianao knew that his ability was to some extent enhanced by the function of Shenbao. But he also knew that if he didn't take the game seriously, he wouldn't be able to play it well even if he had 10 bottles of Shenbao. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Zhou Tianao went from the lowest Iron 5 to Gold 1 with a terrifying speed of averaging 20 minutes per game and a 100% win rate. In the middle, he even skipped the Silver segment because of his high win rate and went directly from Iron 1 to Gold 5. In the Alliance Circle, this is called jumping levels, and only very powerful masters can do it. That is to say, no one witnessed it with their own eyes. Otherwise, no matter who came, facing such a high scoring speed, it could only be described as terrifying. Take a break. Quote, Zhou Tianao took his hands off the keyboard and picked up his phone. At this time, the video he scheduled to release had been released for an hour. When I clicked on it, I found that the number of views had reached over 100,000 within an hour, which shows that the speed of dissemination was very good. This way, he no longer has to broadcast live to demonstrate bugs to the public. Take a break and keep going. Quote, still unsatisfied, he smacked his lips, stood up and ran towards the toilet. Ellipsis. At the same time, Goose Speed Racing Studio. Technical Department. Oh God, oh Earth. What did I do wrong? Why do you treat me like this? 37. Life and Death. Please recommend and vote. Goose Speed Racing Studio. At this moment, all the programmers were stunned, and a few of them were covering their heads and wailing. They had just banned Highway 56 inches last night and took a nap. When they woke up, Shenlei came to them and released the bug of Senro Canyon. Who is it? Who is it? Are they targeting us on purpose? Quote, I can't stand it anymore. I haven't even left the company's door yet. I'm going crazy. Quote, is this going to stop? How come one gets shut down and another pops up right after? Is this something a human would do? Quote, okay. Quote, at this time, Shenlei, who was at the back, stopped them and said thoughtfully. The ban on Route 56 has seriously affected the company's interests. If new bugs continue to appear, it will have a devastating impact on the entire game. We must find a way to prevent the source of bugs. Quote, after hearing this, the others also calmed down. Supervisor, should we call the police? Quote, no. Quote, Shenlei shook his head and said, calling the police is pointless. This bug itself is a technical error on our part. The fundamental fault lies with us. If we leave the bug unfixed and then go to the police to have the person who discovered it arrested, what's the point? Quote, it's like we go to steal something, but the owner's house is empty, and we end up calling the police to arrest the owner because they are too poor. Quote, ellipsis quote, Shenlei covered his forehead and said, that's about it. Quote, the people present were all industry elites, and after hearing what was said, they all realized that calling the police would be of no help at all, and would even affect the reputation of the game and be criticized by players for inaction. What should we do then? Quote, someone looked bewildered and said, unless we expand recruitment and get more programmers to fix bugs together, how can we solve this situation? He's not the one at fault, we're the one at fault. How can we fight back? Quote, Abel. Quote, Shenlei suddenly thought of something and stood up. But this matter cannot be solved by us alone. We need help from other departments. Quote, after saying this, he looked around at the tired-looking employees present and said seriously. Come on, the company's survival is at stake. Quote, as soon as these words were spoken, everyone was shocked and immediately realized the seriousness of the matter. Wait here for my news. I'll go ask the general manager for instructions. Quote, after saying that, Shenlei quickened his pace and left the technical department. Half an hour later, Luo Wei, general manager of the Goose Racing Studio, convened an emergency department meeting. All supervisors had to be present within an hour, and those who did not come would be fired. The company operates a work schedule of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it's not even 9 a.m. yet. When the news got out, all the department heads of Goose Flying Car rushed to the company no matter where they were, whether in bed or in the toilet. Fortunately, the morning rush hour was almost over and they were not stuck on the road. The original rule of going to work at 10 a.m. was to avoid the morning rush hour. This early emergency meeting almost scared them to death. By the time everyone arrived at the meeting room, men and women alike were covered in cold sweats. Very good, now that everyone is here. Quote, Luo Wei, who arrived at the company at 7 in the morning to start work, sat in the main seat, crossed his hands and rested them on his chin, and said in a deep voice. Then let's begin this meeting concerning the life and death of everyone. Quote, as soon as these words were spoken, all the supervisors except those in the PR and technical departments had their pupils dilated and were all shocked. They just took a nap, how could it be a matter of life and death? What exactly happened? At this time, Shen Lei, who had been organizing documents in the conference room early, stood up, connected a video to the big screen, clicked play, and said, "The cause of all this comes from this video." Quote, ellipsis. At 12 o'clock noon, the door of the conference room was opened and all the supervisors walked out. Everyone's eyes were extremely serious. After Shen Lei mentioned that, if the bug continues to spread, the game will lose 90% of paying players, they fully realized the seriousness of the matter. This really concerns their life and death. After coming out, all supervisors quickly returned to their jobs and began to implement the final decision made at the meeting. 1. The Public Relations Department is responsible for connecting with Bilibili, deleting videos related to bugs, preventing the spread of videos, and applying to the head office to put pressure on Bilibili when necessary. White Goose Corporation is a major shareholder of Bilibili and has a lot of say. 2. The technical department will suspend all current projects, and all programmers will focus on fixing bugs to prevent further losses to the company. 3. The legal department will amend the original user contract and add a new clause. If a game bug is spread maliciously, the company has the right to hand over the bug spreader to the relevant department and require the spreader to compensate the company for all losses. 4. Ellipsis. Those who can enter Goose Racing are all elites in the industry. Once this group of people gather together, the power they exert cannot be underestimated. In just 2 hours, a response was made. The effects of the first and second articles are very obvious. It is imperative to delete the videos related to the bug and prevent the bug from spreading further, otherwise they will suffer huge losses if they delay for even a second. It is also necessary to make every effort to fix bugs so that they no longer pose a threat to the gaming environment. But the third point is the most critical. It was proposed by Shen Lei. When the head of the legal department heard it, he was ashamed. As a head of the legal department, he himself could not come up with such a solution. However, although the decision was made at the meeting, the company's amendment of the contract terms needs to be reviewed by the relevant departments. This takes time, but with the strength of the White Goose Company, it is only a matter of time before the review is passed, and the speed will be faster than other companies. It will take a few days at the latest, and normally it takes several months. Once this regulation is implemented, even if players discover a bug, they cannot spread the bug, otherwise they will be subject to legal sanctions. The other decisions are about auxiliary matters, purely to prevent them from being too idle. Otherwise, at this critical moment of life and death, would it be appropriate for you to just sit there and slack off? Public Relations Department. As soon as the supervisor Yuan Haichuan walked into the office, he assigned several tasks in succession. Contact Bilibili officials to delete the video with the bug, and at the same time, ban the video account of the person who spread the bug. Although the contract terms have not yet been finalized, as long as the company puts pressure on Bilibili, it can find any reason, such as involving a certain dispute, to temporarily ban it. The main purpose is to prevent the disseminator from continuing to release new bugs. After Shen Lei's investigation, they already knew that this had begun to be called the bug zone anchor. He used the bonus mechanism to call on netizens to report the bugs they found to him. There are tens of millions of netizens, and even they cannot guarantee that netizens will not find any bugs, so banning this anchor is very necessary. Ellipsis. Fugi Garden. After playing more than a dozen games, Zhou Tianao raised his rank in Summoners League from Gold 5 to Gold 1, and his win rate remained an alarming 100%. Glancing at the time, he realized it was already 2 p.m. Another all-nighter. This habit needs to change. We can't keep going like this. Quote, after Zhou Tianao made up his mind to change his daily routine, he picked up his phone and opened Bilibili to see how many views his videos had. However, as soon as he clicked on it, he was shocked to find that his video account actually showed a big red exclamation mark. The following sentence left him very confused. Your account is involved in a dispute and has been temporarily banned. Single quote. Zhou Tianao. 38. The dog that bites doesn't bark, please recommend and vote for monthly ticket. When Zhou Tianao saw that his Bilibili account was blocked, he was completely confused. What's going on? My account is gone again. What is going on? Because his account was blocked, he could only use Bilibili without logging in. Although you can still watch videos, you cannot comment and there is no big data to push videos that suit your taste. But he soon realized something was wrong. He found that all the videos on Bilibili related to the bug of goose speed had disappeared. This situation made him realize that it might be the official goose speed that took action. Otherwise, Bilibili itself would not care about such things, and he couldn't think of any other reason. Without his account, he not only couldn't post videos, but also couldn't do live broadcasts. None of this actually mattered. He could guess that the official's purpose in doing this was to prevent the bug from spreading further and causing greater impact. These are all measures to prevent the situation from escalating, and there is nothing wrong with it. However, what he cares about is whether his Goose Speed account has been unblocked. There is a video under his video account about the account being mistakenly blocked. And since the matter has developed to the point where the authorities have personally blocked his video account, there is a high possibility that the authorities have also seen this video. The evidence inside is sufficient to prove that he was wrongly banned. It really doesn't matter if his Bilibili account is blocked, he just wants to see that his Goose Speed account is unblocked. What he wants is the official attitude. As long as the official honestly lifts the blockade, he is willing to reconcile with the official. Although the bugs of the system tasks still need to be released later, he can find some minor and unimportant bugs to make up the number. He is not the kind of person who deliberately finds fault. If the official after-sales service had not been so poor and perfunctory, he would not have reached this point. Thinking of this, Zhou Tianao sat in front of the computer, tried to open the login interface of Goose Speed and entered his main account password. Click login and the game will begin loading. A few seconds later, the game interface appeared, and before he could even breathe a sigh of relief, he immediately saw a pop-up window. Due to suspected illegal operations, your account has been banned at 10:05 a.m. on September 15, 2024. The unbanned date is 10:05 a.m. on September 15, 2034. Closing square bracket. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote. Zhou Tianao stared at the screen expressionlessly, then suddenly closed his eyes, shook his head and smiled. It seems like you guys are planning to do something extreme. Quote. Then I'll stick with you till the end. Quote. He was really impressed. Not only did the Goose Speed official not unblock his account, they also blocked his Bilibili account. This shows that not only do they not want to admit that there is a problem with their detection system, but they also want to strangle it in the cradle and prevent it from being able to continue to spread the bug. Unlike game accounts, nowadays online social accounts are basically bound to one ID card. It is indeed impossible for him to create a second Bilibili account. Haha, well done, now we can fight to the death. Quote. I don't know if it's because of Shenbao, but although he is very angry now, his emotions are unusually calm. He didn't vent his emotions by swearing like before. A dog that bites doesn't bark, is that what you mean? Quote. Zhou Tianao laughed at himself. He was so calm at the moment that he was a little scared. Shaking his head, he stopped thinking about it and closed Bilibili and opened Douyin. He's going to fight back. It is true that the internet giant White Goose is behind the official Goose Speed race, which has huge power and profound background. But you have to know that there are more than one internet giant. Douyin is one of those who can rival him. Standing behind him is also an internet giant, that is the blue character. This is an old man who has been working on the internet for many years. His industry is spread all over the world and his strength is unfathomable. More importantly, he and the white-bellied goose are competitors. Because of the rise of Douyin in the short video industry, the status of blue characters in China is no less than that of white geese. No matter how powerful the white-bellied goose is, it is impossible for it to extend its hands into the territory of its competitors. Now, he wants to take advantage of this to continue publishing the bugs of Goose Speed on Douyin. He was not afraid that no one would watch it because he already had a video of Goose flying car that went viral on Douyin. That is the original running method video of Ghost Run. This video has been played millions of times, which shows that there are many Goose Speed players on Douyin, so there is no need to worry about the bug not being spread. Open Douyin and click Submit. At the same time, upload the video of how to fix the bugs in Route 56 and Senro Canyon at the same time. Soon, the video of Highway 56 inches was the first to pass the review. Because he has a fan base of nearly 200,000, his videos quickly attracted comments. "Hey, this image is banned, why are people still reporting bugs?" Quote, Joe Tianao was stunned when he saw this. He really didn't know about this. In response to this, he could only say, "Wow, guys." He expressed his admiration for the Goose Speed Racing Company, which was too lazy to fix the bugs and directly banned the map. He then deleted the Highway 56 inches video that had just passed review. At this time, the video of Senro Canyon was also approved, and soon someone commented on it. "Wow, Grandpa, Emperor Haoshin has released a new video. Like it first and then watch it." Quote, "Wow, Emperor Haoshin actually remembered the password for the main account." Quote, "Finally showed up, and brought running methods for other maps. I'm crying." Quote, "These are all comments made before watching the video. After a while, there are more and more comments. Oh my goodness. I thought it was a new way to run in Senluo Canyon, but it actually is a new way to run. This running method is really outrageous. I'm running to another world, right?" Quote, "Holy crap. Can this picture be played like this? I'll try it." Quote, "Waiting online for you to come back and comment after trying it." Quote, +1. Waiting online. Quote, "Seeing that the number of views of the video had been increasing since it was released, Joe Tianao felt relieved. This shows that his guess is correct. Douyin can be used as a second place to spread the bug. This also indirectly shows how popular Douyin is. On Bilibili, it is difficult to see comments without waiting for an hour or two, unless the host has a particularly large number of fans. Soon, those who had tested the bug came back to comment. Holy crap. This thing actually works. And it even works in ranked matches. You guys get what I mean, right? Quote, "Is this true? Fuck. I'm going to try it too." Quote, "I always lose to my opponents on this map, which makes me stuck at gold. After reading this, I feel like I can do it." Quote, Go. Is this a bug? This is the first time I've seen such an outrageous operation. Love it." Quote, "Although I don't play Goose Speed, I'll download it right away just for this bug." Quote, At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Joe Tianao, who had confirmed that the bug could be spread again, put down his phone, found a change of clothes, and took a shower. After washing, he rubbed his hair with a towel and subconsciously picked up his mobile phone, opened Douyin, and prepared to see how the bug spread. You won't know the result until you see it, and you'll be shocked when you see it. I saw that the comment section was full of curses at this moment. No way. I can't get in there at all. I even smashed the front of my car into pieces. Is this video a special effect? Quote, "You're all liars. I had a good chance of advancing, but because of this non-existent bug, I fell to last place and failed to advance." Quote, "What a rubbish master, you're fooling us with fake bugs, don't you feel guilty?" 39. What is the degree of importance? Please recommend and vote for me. While Joe Tianao was taking a shower, the comments on his video had all changed, and almost all of them were scolding him. What's going on? The bug is useless. Quote, Joe Tianao looked through the previous comments with doubts. It was discovered that before he took a shower, that is, 20 minutes before, many players who had successfully exploited the bug came to give feedback. But halfway through his shower, about 10 minutes in, the comments began to change. Some players began to complain that the video was fake, that the game could not be played at all, and that they could not enter the tree hole at all. Did they fix the bug so quickly? Quote, Joe Tianao frowned, sat down in front of the computer and opened Goose Speed. After logging in, I directly opened a game of Senro Canyon. Coming to the huge tree hole again, he rushed up quickly with doubts. Bang! This time, the front of his car collided with the outer wall of the track in front of the tree hole. An invisible wall of air completely blocked the tree hole, making it impossible to enter it from any angle. This way, he can be sure that the bug has indeed been fixed. Looking at the abusive comments on Douyin, Joe Tianao realized a problem. That is, all the troubles he caused for Goose Flying Car have been solved. Although the bug in Highway 56 inches has not been fixed, people can ban the map and prevent players from using it. He has used up all his Eye of Disorder uses today, and can only create a new bug tomorrow. It is not even 5 o'clock in the afternoon now, and there are more than 7 hours left until tomorrow. This will create a gap, giving the official Goose Speed Racing some time to catch their breath and make adjustments. System, what level of attention do you think is important? Does this level count? Quote, Zhou Tianao suddenly called out to the system. He knew that the system had been upgraded and had become more humane, and should respond to him. He wanted to know what level of achievement was required to achieve the system task of making Goose Flying Car pay attention to it. Quote, compared to the first, Ghost Run, bug which took a whole day to be fixed, it took only 9 hours from the release of Senro Canyon to its fix. Since Highway 56 inches was banned, they must have paid something, and the price is probably not small. The purpose of his asking the system was to find out whether forcing a company that was originally extremely lazy to this extent would make them take it seriously. If that counts, the attention condition in the system task has been met. He doesn't need to press further, he just needs to wait for the Eye of Disorder to refresh, and then collect the remaining bugs. But if that doesn't count, he must find a way to not give Goose Flying Car any breathing room. At this moment, the voice of the system sounded in his mind, which made him happy. It really worked. This system doesn't think it counts. As long as the host's Goose Speed account remains unblocked for a day, it's enough to show their arrogance. Therefore, this system stipulates that the successful unblocking of the host's Goose Speed account is the actual standard for receiving attention in this mission. Quote, Zhou Tianao pondered for a few seconds after hearing this and asked, can you tell me how to really make people take you seriously? Quote, the system was silent for a few seconds and said, the degree of importance you receive depends on your worth. Quote, value is the sum of ability, wealth, status and everything else. Quote, I see. Thank you. Quote, after Zhou Tianao finished speaking, the system fell silent. He got up from the computer and sat on the sofa in the living room, half sitting and half lying, facing the ceiling, closed his eyes, and began to think. The Eye of Disorder is still cooling down, and there are still 7 hours until midnight. What can he do in these 7 hours? Just wait. No, this will only give them time to make adjustments. In this way, even if he releases a new bug tomorrow, they will be able to fix it with ease. They can now be said to have entered combat mode, probably waiting for him to release new bugs and then fix them immediately. In this way, not only was his account not unblocked, but because the bugs were constantly being improved by them, the game became even more perfect, and ultimately fulfilled their wish. Then the ending may be the failure of the mission. This was definitely not the ending he wanted. As a system owner, if he messed up the task like this, he would really be nailed to the pillar of shame. But how can we make them lose all desire to fight? Zhou Tianao thought of the famous wars in history. Among them, the only one that could instantly make people lose their fighting spirit seemed to be nuclear war. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but think of a famous saying. When people think you have nuclear weapons, you better actually have them. Quote, at this moment, Zhou Tianao's thoughts became clear, he opened his eyes, and a smile appeared on his lips. He jumped up from the sofa and sat in front of the computer. He opened the Douyin video background, clicked on Submit, and on the interface for selecting to upload the video, he clicked on the local hard drive of the computer. There was the first video he had ever posted on Bilibili, which was also the video that was mistakenly blocked on the day his Goose Speed account was blocked. This time, he changed the title from, Don't Click Here, the 10-year-old car god was blocked for no reason, to, Why? The 10-year-old car god was blocked for no reason. Quote, click upload and the video will be reviewed quickly. This time, he didn't even bother to read the comments, but simply closed Douyin and ignored it. I ordered another takeout, opened Summoners League, and started playing a ranked match. And it seemed that his expression was full of comfort, without any sense of urgency at the beginning. Ellipsis. Goose Speed Racing Studio. Technical Department. All the programmers who are ready to go have already started working internally on bug fixes for Route 56. But as soon as a new bug appears, they immediately stop what they are doing and start fixing the new bug with all their strength. In order to maintain his condition, Shenlei has had 10 boxes of coffee and Hongbin delivered so that he can fully deal with the upcoming bug. They knew very well that the bug would appear again. Because the prohibition of spreading bugs contract applied for by the Ministry of Justice has not passed the review. There is nothing wrong with the UP host's behavior, he has the right to do so. In order to prevent losses, they used their connections to temporarily ban the UP's video account and deleted all videos related to the bug. Although they were wrong, the UP host could only swallow his anger and was unable to take legal action to protect his rights. Taking legal action against Nanshan Pizza Hut is a waste of effort. In this case, the only means for this UP host is to collect new bugs and publish them to cause trouble for them and fight against them. After understanding the reason, all the programmers present felt a surge of strength in their hearts, as if all their previous fatigue had dissipated. Who are they? Being able to work for a company under the White Goose umbrella, they are undoubtedly the elites in the industry and they have their own pride. At this time, if someone tries to challenge them, they will let that person know what it means to be like an ant trying to shake a tree and overestimating one's own abilities. Even if he has thousands of netizens supporting him and helping him find bugs, they are not afraid. This is a long-term battle. As long as they wait until the contract is approved, they can directly call the police to arrest the person, and no one will make trouble in the face of the law. Then it will be their complete victory. Boss, this guy posted another video. Quote, at this time, the employee responsible for monitoring the UP host's Douyin account shouted, and everyone immediately stopped their work and prepared to solve the new bug. But when everyone looked over, they saw this employee suddenly wondered. But this doesn't seem to be a bug video. He's giving in. He is begging us. 40. General Manager backstab, asking for monthly tickets and recommendations. Please us. Quote, in the technical department, the programmers who were originally sitting upright were all stunned when they heard this. Aren't they the ones who were wrong in this matter? Shouldn't this UP host confront them head on? Why are you begging for mercy? That's it. Everyone stood up and came to the surveillance personnel's computer. After the lunch meeting, they all knew the whole story. Of course, I have watched the original video. The title at the time was, "Don't Click Here." The 10-year-old car god was banned for no reason. Quote, but now the title of this video is, Why? The 10-year-old racing god was banned for no reason. Quote, don't be fooled by the fact that the content of the videos before and after are exactly the same without any changes, only a few words in the title have been changed. But the attitude that the video wants to express is different. Don't click in, is a sarcastic remark. What he wants is for everyone to come and take a look. His attitude is very tough. But after changing to, why? The attitude softened completely. Why? It expresses his unwillingness and resentment. This also means that the only thing left for him to do is cry and complain. He has no other options. Seeing this, everyone immediately showed a knowing and proud smile. They were once again thankful that they worked for this internet giant. Otherwise, if they were an ordinary company, they would have been tortured to the point of bankruptcy by now. The previous methods of putting pressure on Bilibili to delete certain videos were once used by an artist who thought he had great influence, but he failed and was ridiculed by the entire network. Therefore, this kind of thing cannot be done by ordinary people or even companies. It must be done by an existence with profound influence like the White Goose. I thought he was a big shot, but I didn't expect him to be gone so quickly. Quote, indeed, I was ready to go bald, but he actually gave up. Quote, exactly. I thought he was very resourceful, but it seems he was just lucky. Quote, the opponent had already admitted defeat, and they began to laugh at him. At this time, someone sighed. What a shame. If he hadn't touched that thing, the account might have been unlocked. Quote, he suddenly stopped talking halfway. Seeing that everyone was looking at him with blank expressions, as if they were looking at a rare species, he quickly laughed and said, ha ha ha, just think of it as me farting. That kind of thing is impossible. Quote, after he said this, everyone nodded in tacit understanding and stopped looking at him. The person who spoke was also frightened. I almost forgot, that was a fact they absolutely did not want to face. And it was also the ultimate reason why they could not unblock the Goose Speed account even though they knew that the video evidence was sufficient and they understood that he was blocked by mistake. Let's get back to the topic. In the eyes of all programmers, they won the battle. They originally thought this would be a tough battle that would take a long time. As a result, the other side surrendered directly, which caught them off guard. It's so funny, you're begging for mercy now. What were you doing before? Quote, are you still asking why? He doesn't think that after this, we'll just unblock his account and let things go, right? Quote, impossible. We have to use this incident to pressure him into releasing new bugs that won't threaten us. As soon as the contract is approved, we'll call the police and have him arrested. Let him know the consequences of offending a big company. Quote, exactly. He probably got anxious after seeing how quickly we fixed the bug. He felt like he couldn't put any pressure on us, so he wanted to put an end to this farce. Quote, I feel the same way. We banned Route 56, and the fix for Senro Canyon is as simple as adding an air wall. He probably chose to do this because he couldn't come up with a new bug anytime soon. It's a shame, it's too late. Thinking of quitting now is too good to be true. Quote, he should be arrested. Quote, someone gnashed their teeth and said, if it weren't for him, would we have stayed in the company for so many days in a row? We haven't even stepped out of the office door yet. I feel like I'm going moldy. I've forgotten what the sun looks like. Quote, that's right, you deserve it. Someone with nothing better to do than figure out how to fix a bug. I've never seen anything like this before. Quote, I gave you a chance but you didn't use it. Quote, this group of programmers had been suppressed for a long time, and now that they saw their opponents giving in, they naturally fought back verbally without hesitation. They were forced to sleep in the company for several days. If the company had not finally made a decision that greatly relieved their pressure, they would have probably collapsed. Now that I have a way to vent, I naturally let it all out. Okay. Quote, Shen Lei, who had thick hair, shouted to stop the group of people. You are an intellectual after all, so be careful with your words. Quote, after the supervisor spoke, everyone tactfully began to calm down, but they still couldn't suppress the excitement on their faces. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote, Shen Lei shook his head helplessly and looked at the computer screen. The title, Why, was still fresh in his mind. His thoughts were no different from others, and he also felt that this person should not have retreated. Although he has the support of netizens behind him, no matter how capable they are, it takes time to find new bugs. He probably did this because he couldn't come up with any new bugs in a short period of time. With this period of time as a buffer, they will be able to maintain their spirits. In front of a group of energetic top programmers, there is no bug that cannot be fixed. This is their confidence. But he always felt something was wrong. They were so powerful not long ago, with bugs popping up one after another, but now they are giving in immediately. It's really too fast. Even if you admit defeat, it should at least take some time, right? He raised his head and glanced at the employees in front of him. Although there were smiles in their eyes, the fatigue revealed in their expressions could not be concealed. There was even someone leaning back in a chair and dozing off. They were really tired. The double pressure of mental and physical made them exhausted. Seeing this, Shen Lei finally suppressed the words, wait a little longer, and said, everyone. Quote, seeing everyone looking over, he smiled and said, get ready to go home and get some sleep. Quote, after 2 seconds of silence, everyone raised their hands and cheered loudly. Oh. Quote, long live the director. Quote, the director loves you. Quote, I'm home, I can finally go home. Quote, damn it, I'm about to suffocate. Quote, go home, I want to go home. Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. After Shen Lei reported the specific situation to Luo Wei, the company's state of emergency was announced to be lifted. After hearing that the UpHost's game account still couldn't be unblocked for some reason, Luo Wei worried. So, as long as this account isn't unblocked, he might come back with a new bug. Quote, in theory, yes. Quote, unlike Shen Lei, Luo Wei had his own considerations, so he said, I'm offering them triple their wages and asking them to stay on call. I'm worried about potential problems if they're not here before their contracts are reviewed. Don't worry, there will be additional compensation once this matter is over. Quote, Shen Lei naturally had to listen to the general manager's words. So, when he returned to the technical department and told his subordinates what Luo Wei had said, even though they were offered triple wages and compensation, there was still a lot of complaints. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could he still have a bug? Quote, yeah, what's the point of him creating new bugs when he knows the outcome is doomed to fail? Quote, you're right. He clearly knew this, which is why he posted this begging video. Otherwise, how could he possibly admit defeat? Quote, what a sin. When the time comes, the general manager actually backstabs me. Who can handle this? Quote, I want to go home. Quote, ellipsis. At midnight, Joe Tianao lay in bed and opened his eyes. Eye of disorder, open. 41. King Bomb, please recommend and vote for me. Eye of disorder, open. Quote, after getting up, Joe Tianao sat back in front of the computer and looked at the Goose Speed interface that was already logged in. Strings of codes flew out, dragging his sight into the code space. After a round of inspection, he once again selected a popular qualifying map based on 2 characteristics. This is also a 3-star map called Giant Computer. The track of this map is designed in a giant office computer. Running on it is like turning into a little person and touring his workplace. It feels very familiar, so it is naturally a frequent visitor to the qualifying race. After touching the red ball of light, several steps appeared in my mind. At 1 minute and 5 seconds, hitting the power button of the giant computer with the rear end of the car will cause a displacement bug. After obtaining the bug, Joe Tianao immediately opened a game to try it out. Following the steps, when he saw the right moment to step back and hit the power button with the rear end of the car, the entire map suddenly shook, and then the game interface was forcibly flipped, correcting his vision from the rear. However, when his vision returned to normal, his position had shifted, directly from the power button to the position behind the finish line. Now he only needed to drive forward a short distance to complete the game. This is another bug that can destroy the game balance. Joe Tianao did not hesitate, turned on the recording software and made it into a video. This time, he didn't wait and posted it directly. He originally thought about showing this bug on Douyin live broadcast, but unfortunately, Goose Speed is a game under White Goose and has copyright. As a competitor, Douyin cannot live broadcast games under White Goose. Unless it is a licensed game, but Goose Speed is not. But the secondary creation video is fine, so he can publish the bug through the video. Soon, the video passed the review. As soon as the video came through, he immediately felt like he was being slapped in the face. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Bang. Slap value +1. Quote. Ellipsis. This wave of face slapping values is very small, only a few dozen, but based on these, Joe Tianao can conclude that these face slapping values belong to the official staff of Goose Speed. It's just as I thought. Are you guys just full of arrogance? Are you so sure I won't dare to create new bugs? Quote. Joe Tianao smiled slightly. Because of the official's outrageous actions, his Bilibili account was blocked and the channel for fans to submit bugs was blocked. From the official point of view, this greatly reduces the possibility of him getting bugs. In addition, they fixed and prevented the spread of bugs in a timely manner, giving them some breathing space. This way, even if he gets new bugs in the future, they won't be afraid and will be able to respond in time. Of course, all of the above are official results. What Joe Tianao really cares about is what their next attitude will be. Whether he is on high alert and waits for an opportunity or takes it lightly will determine whether he can turn the situation around. But the problem is, their attitude is like Schrödinger's cat to Joe Tianao. Both are possible, because he has no channels to find out what the official attitude is. At this time, he had to do something to force them to make up their minds. And this is the purpose of his posting the video that was mistakenly blocked. He posted the video with a changed title just to mislead officials and make them feel that they had no way out. In fact, he was also gambling, and what he was gambling on was that the officials were full of arrogance in their bones. If he is the kind of person who won't release the eagle until he sees the rabbit, in this situation you will just keep believing that he will come up with a new bug and wait for it. This will result in him not being able to successfully slap the opponent in the face because the events will not be reversed. On the contrary, with their inherent arrogance, as soon as they give in, they will immediately believe that the previous outrageous operations done by their company have caused a fatal blow to themselves, so they will surrender and beg for mercy, and therefore firmly believe that they will never be able to turn things around. If he makes a wrong bet, he will never be able to recover, the mission will fail completely, and he will be nailed to the pillar of shame. But now he made the right bet. As soon as the new bug was released, it immediately slapped them in the face, and the slap value recorded showed that their misleading was indeed successful. And this is the most crucial step he takes. It is also the launcher of the nuclear bomb. Zhou Tianao closed his eyes, took a deep breath, then stretched out his palm and silently said in his heart, 10 times the face-slapping amplification return coupon. Quote. In an instant, a small receipt similar to a supermarket coupon appeared in his hand. He originally intended to use this to get rich, but now he has to use it. There are many opportunities to get rich quickly, but there is only one chance in front of him. He is sure that his operation of exploiting a bug will definitely lead to the authorities taking corresponding measures in the future, and the same opportunity will never appear again. So he had to consider whether this was his only chance in this life. He took a look at the 10-fold face-slapping amplification scroll in his hand, and the corresponding information popped up. 10-fold face-slapping amplification rebate coupon. Function. After a successful face slap, use this coupon to increase the effect of the face slap tenfold and return it to the host. Note: consumable item, can only be used once. The function of this voucher is actually one of the reasons why he misled the authorities. Because the last time he successfully slapped someone in the face was when they were eating barbecue. At that time, he thought for a long time but couldn't guess who he slapped in the face. It was not until he saw Highway 56 inches band that he understood where the slap in the face value came from. It turned out that he was slapped in the face by the official because they were unable to fix the bug in Highway 56. The way to use the coupon is to amplify and return the effect after a successful face slap. If he uses it directly, the result will be that the band time of Route 56 inches will be increased tenfold in a reasonable way. This is of no use to him at all. Therefore, he had to create another wave of face slapping, refresh the face slapping effect, and let the amplification coupons exert a terrifying power that was enough to make the entire official lose all fighting spirit. The official thought he was playing a game of big or small with them, but in fact he was playing landlord. He and the system are farmers, the officials are landlords, and he thinks he is going to win, but he has no idea that this farmer is holding a trump card in his hand. Tenfold face slapping amplification rebate coupon, use it. Quote. Zhou Tianao muttered to himself, and the coupon in his hand burned instantly but was not hot, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Then, the system's voice sounded in his mind. The tenfold face slapping amplification coupon was used successfully. Quote. The face slap effect is being returned. Quote. Return successful. Quote. The moment the system voice fell, his vision instantly burst into lines of code. When the Eye of Disorder had entered its cooldown period, he was pulled into the code space again. The next moment, 10 red balls of light flew towards him and shattered automatically. 10 steps with bugs appeared in his mind, and the maps corresponding to these bugs were: Samsung Map, Giant City; 3-star map, Wind and Fire Wheel; 4-star map, Route 7 inches; 3-star map, Xiaoyaoji; Samsung Maps, Amusement Park; ellipsis. He has mastered the steps to exploit bugs in 10 maps. Each map, like previous maps, is both easy to operate and highly spreadable, and they are all popular maps in the ranking matches. As the seasoned king of goose racing, he is naturally very familiar with these. And these 10 bugs will help him completely defeat the official's fighting will. He was particularly looking forward to seeing what expressions the official people would have after he threw out these 10 bugs together. Zhou Tianao quickly opened the recording software and prepared to make a bug video. Before starting recording, he glanced at the time. It was already September 20, 2024, 1 o'clock in the morning. He remembered what he had said before about adjusting his work and rest schedule, and he couldn't help but sigh. This is really the last time I've reversed my day and night. I'll definitely do it next time. 42. Are you guys playing 123 Wooden Man? Please recommend and give me a monthly ticket. Half an hour later, Zhou Tianao finished recording all 10 bug videos. The next step is to upload it all to Douyin. Open the Douyin backend and click upload. All 10 videos will be reviewed at the same time. Then, they will be released one by one in the order they were uploaded. Half an hour ago. Goose Goose Speed Racing Studio. Technical Department. The surveillance officer, who was dozing off with dark circles under his eyes, suddenly heard a prompt sound. He opened his eyes dazedly and was immediately shocked. He quickly stood up from the chair and stared at the screen, his eyes full of disbelief. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Everyone, get up. Quote. After a few seconds of shock, he quickly shouted behind him, waking up a group of drowsy colleagues. After several hours of hard work during the day, they had already fixed the bug in Route 56. They had just fallen asleep when they were woken up again and couldn't help complaining. Fuck me. What happened again? Quote. Are you going to let people live? Quote. What the hell are you doing? If it's nothing serious, I'll strangle you to death. Quote. In their hearts, the matter had already come to an end, and they were naturally very angry because their hard-earned rest time was interrupted. The person in charge of monitoring was also an old employee. Seeing this, he immediately became angry and said angrily, "Fuck, is this what I want? Am I not tired? Why are you guys mad at me? Do you really think I'm easy to bully? Quote, aren't you going to strangle me to death? Come on, who the hell is afraid of who?" Quote. Seeing that the noise was getting more and more intense, Shen Lei, who had been resting with his eyes closed in the front, stood up. Shut up, everyone. Quote. After saying that, he looked at the surveillance personnel again. What happened? Quote. The supervisor glared at the programmers, then said directly, "A new bug has appeared, it's about giant computer." Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole audience fell silent and everyone stood there in a daze. Except for Shen Lei, they all felt their cheeks burning. They totally don't understand. At this point, is there any need to make a desperate struggle? No, how dare he? Quote. What's the point of this? Why does it have to be this final hop? Quote. I don't understand. Does this person really have no brains at all? Quote. Seeing this, Shen Lei stepped forward and said helplessly, "Look, you guys just don't believe me, but the general manager asked you to stay as a guarantee. Isn't it coming in handy now?" Quote. Now all the programmers present were speechless. After all, the facts were right in front of them. If they were allowed to go home, the bug would not be fixed in time and would begin to spread. By then, they will definitely have to bear the losses caused by the bugs because they have neglected their duties. Not to mention the year-end bonuses, it is not certain whether they can keep their jobs in this extraordinary period. So, Hong Ben kept talking and drank coffee as if it were water, and they immediately started to study this bug. Soon, they discovered that the bug was very easy to fix, at the same level as Senro Canyon. The fix was to simply remove the power button. The power button is just a model. Removing it will not affect the game operation. In fact, the operation will be more stable because of the lack of a model. And all you need to do in this step is not even type any code, just delete the model. So when they finished fixing the bug, it took less than 20 minutes, which was extremely easy. It seems that this should be the last bug. Quote. The man, who was less than 30 years old, had thinning hair and wore thick glasses, and spoke with a smile. Why? Quote. Some people are puzzled. It's very simple. If he has a more difficult bug, why doesn't he use it? The more difficult the better, so that he can cause trouble for us. Quote. But now he can only come up with this level of bug, which means he has no more cards in his hand. Quote. We won this game. Quote. After hearing what he said, everyone smiled from the bottom of their hearts. Some programmers asked with hopeful eyes. So, this time, we can really go home and have a good rest. Quote. Certainly. Quote. 1:35 in the morning. The bug incident that has driven programmers crazy seems to have come to an end. Shen Lei stood aside, silently watching his men cheering one by one. He was self-assured of his status and just watched quietly from the side without going forward to get involved. These past few days have been really tiring. If they asked to go home right now, he would agree. Looking at their excited backs, Shen Lei quietly walked aside and sat down. Next to him was the position of the surveillance officer, who had just run to the bathroom. He couldn't help but look at the computer screen. It contains the Douyin account homepage of Haoshan Emperor, and there are 3 videos below the video. From left to right, they are the original running method of the Ghost Track. Why? The 10-year racing god was banned for no reason. And the new bug map, Giant Computer. For some unknown reason, he stepped forward and clicked on the bug video of Supercomputer. In the video, the rear end of the car hits the power button, causing the screen to flip in the direction to correct. When the car reappears, it has moved to the back of the starting line. If it moves forward, it will win the race. Bugs are really, quote. After reading it, Shenlei couldn't help but sigh. Things like bugs. They can compete with programmers in daily life, but they can also cause huge losses to the company like this bug incident, and eventually have to make various responses. The source of all this, in the final analysis, is just an error that occurred when a few lines of code were running. At this time, the video finished playing, and Shenlei moved the mouse and clicked the cross in the upper right corner. The Giant Computer video interface suddenly disappeared, and then automatically returned to the previous interface, which was the screen with 4 videos placed under the Douyin account. Shenlei had a blank expression on his face. He supported himself on the armrest with both hands and was about to get up and leave when he suddenly realized something was wrong. 4 videos. He looked at the computer screen with a puzzled look on his face, and saw that under the Douyin homepage of Haoshan Emperor, there were indeed 4 videos. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote. Shenlei blinked his eyes, feeling that his eyesight was a little blurry because he had been working for too long. He closed his eyes, squinted hard, let his eyes relax, and then opened them again. Still 4 videos. Shenlei, quote. At this time, the monitor came back from the toilet and saw Shenlei sitting at his workstation. He couldn't help but wonder. Boss, there are so many seats next to me, why don't you sit here? Quote. He felt something was wrong halfway through his words, because Shenlei was like a wooden man at this moment, with his eyes wide open, staring at the screen, not moving at all. Boss, what's wrong with you? Quote. The monitor followed Shenlei's gaze and looked at the computer screen. With just one glance, he instantly switched to a form exactly the same as Shenlei's, and a silent cry of fear emanated from his mouth. 5. Quote. After saying this, he was stunned. The movement here quickly attracted the attention of others. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you moving? Quote. Someone noticed something was wrong and hurried forward to ask. 6. Quote. Then he froze. What are you looking at? So engrossed. Quote. Someone was curious about what the 3 of them were looking at, as they didn't even move, so they went over to take a look. 7. Quote. Then he froze. Are you guys standing still? I want to play too. I want to play too. I haven't played in a long time. Quote. Some people, still childish at heart, thought everyone was playing games to celebrate the successful completion of work, and excitedly wanted to join in the fun. 8. Quote. Then another one was stunned. Ellipsis. I don't know how much time passed, but in the technical department, where it was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop, someone suddenly laughed. Hee. 43. It's time for Life and Death again, please recommend and vote for me. When everyone in the technical department looked at the 10 newly released bugs of Haoshan Emperor, everyone was stunned. Someone's eyes were dull, and he murmured in disbelief. 10 bugs. He released 10 in one go. Quote. He sent out 10 at once, how many more does he have? Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, all the programmers' eyes suddenly revealed even deeper despair. This is what makes them most frustrated. Haoshan Emperor can release 10 bugs at once, who can guarantee how many more he will have? If we continue to repair it like this, when will it end? Haha, there's no point in fixing this. It's boring. Quote. Some people started to give up and walked out in a daze. Where are you going? Quote. The people around him noticed that something was wrong with him and stopped him. I can't go home, I'm going to the rooftop to get some fresh air, don't worry. Quote. He raised his head and smiled sadly, I won't jump. Quote. Ellipsis quote. I don't believe you at all. Upon hearing this, everyone rushed forward one after another to stop him. This man's emotions completely exploded. Despite being blocked by 7 or 8 pairs of arms, he still wanted to break out of the encirclement. Don't stop me, let me go, I don't want to play anymore, I don't want to play anymore. Quote. Seeing that things were about to get out of control, Shenlei took a deep breath and stood up. Others also noticed him and placed their bets over. From now on, everyone put down your work and start to rest. Tomorrow morning, I will discuss with the general manager about borrowing programmers from other departments to help us fix all the bugs. Quote. After Shenlei finished speaking, he looked at the colleague who was about to go to the rooftop to get some fresh air, and said with a stern gaze. Things haven't gotten to the worst point yet. We haven't lost yet. We just lost first. We still have a chance to take it back. Quote. Hearing this, the colleague who was preparing to go to the rooftop to get some fresh air lowered his head in shame and gave up the idea of going to the rooftop. The others also breathed a sigh of relief. Although they were under a lot of pressure, it was not to this extent. What are you still standing there for? Quote. Shenlei took the brunt of the attack. He laid down the ergonomic chair behind him, and lay on it, closing his eyes and saying, go to sleep, there's still a tough battle to fight tomorrow. Quote. Everyone was stunned and hurriedly moved around, returning to the places where they had slept for the past few days. Hey, you're in the wrong place. That's my spot. Quote. What are you doing with my pillow? Quote. My blanket. Quote. Ellipsis. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Luo Wei still came to the company early, ready to start dealing with today's affairs. As soon as he opened the company's door, a man walked out from the side and scared him. But when he saw that this man had an enviable head of thick hair, his heart suddenly calmed down and he frowned and said, Shenlei, is it proper for a department manager like you to be here waiting for me so early in the morning? Quote. Ellipsis quote. Facing Luo Wei's words, Shenlei just looked at him expressionlessly. Half an hour later, Luo Wei and Shenlei sat together staring blankly. Quote. Ellipsis quote. Seeing that he couldn't win against Shenlei, Luo Wei covered his forehead, feeling his temples throbbing. After a long while, he rubbed his cheeks and said, so, our company is facing a life or death situation again. Quote. Almost. Quote. Shenlei nodded slightly, his thick hair swaying slightly, and his expression looked very calm. Except for the time last night when he lost control of his expression when he saw Emperor Haoshan release 10 bugs in succession, Shenlei basically remained calm at other times, so Luo Wei couldn't understand him. Prepare for an emergency meeting. Quote. Luo Wei said helplessly, as for you, you don't need to participate. Just go to the building next door and borrow programmers. Borrow as many as you can without affecting their operations. If you have any questions, just call me. Quote. Okay. Quote. Shenlei nodded, stood up and walked towards the door. Luo Wei looked at his calm and composed figure, and when he was about to step out of the door, he couldn't help but say, Shenlei. Quote. Seeing him turn around, Luo Wei looked a little complicated and said, these things shouldn't be caused by you, right? Quote. No. Quote. Shenlei replied almost instantly, then looked at him and said solemnly, but I hope so. Quote. I suspect the bug posted by this Haoshan Emperor wasn't a fan contribution at all, but was something he created all by himself. Quote. If it's really as I said, then this person is either an undercover agent of the company, just like you suspect me, or he is an unparalleled master we have never met. His understanding of programming code may have reached a level that we can't even imagine. Quote. Luo Wei just frowned slightly after hearing this. To be able to become the general manager, he must be very cunning. I understand. I hope you don't mention this to anyone else. Quote. You should go and do your work first. Solving the problem at hand is the key. Quote. Shenlei nodded again, and this time he left the meeting room directly and quickly disappeared around the corner. Soon, the department held another emergency meeting. Luo Wei sat in the main seat, looked at the heads of various departments, and slowly said, Ministry of Justice, can you expedite the review of the regulations prohibiting the spread of bugs? Quote. No. Quote. We have reduced the original time frame of at least a month to about a week. If we go any faster, the process will not be completed. Quote. The best we can do is bring the approval time from the evening to the morning, but we still have to wait until that day. Quote. Then we should move it up to the morning. Every second we save gives us a better chance of winning. Quote. Clear. Quote. Legal department, contact Douyin officials. No matter what method is used, they must stop him from spreading the bug. Quote. Clear. Quote. Ministry of Commerce. Quote. Ellipsis. As decisions were implemented one after another, the Goose Racing Studio once again entered a state of emergency. At 12 o'clock noon, Shenlei returned to the technical department with 30 senior programmers as external aid. These are the helpers provided to us by the head office. They will assist us in solving all the bugs. Quote. Help is finally here. Come and help the child. Quote. Oh my God, I finally don't have to bear the workload that is not suitable for my age. Quote. I'm really about to cry, please save us. Quote. When the 30 senior programmers saw the dire situation in the technical department, they were all shocked. It's very common for programmers to stay up all night, but it's really rare to find people like them. Not only was his mental state extremely bad, but he also exuded a sour odor. Someone asked tentatively, how long has it been since you last showered? Quote. The programmer from the technical department said blankly. Take a bath, what is a bath? Can I go home? Quote. Foreign aid. Quote. Soon, the foreign workers wearing masks began to fix the bugs with the help of foreign workers from the technical department. However, despite having a good sleep, their mental state is still worrying. They are slow to react to many problems faced by foreign players, resulting in extremely slow repair efficiency. Because, in the eyes of the technical department, there is no telling how many bugs are hidden in the hands of Emperor Haoshan. There are still 7 or 8 days left before the contract terms are reviewed and approved. How many bugs will appear by then? They dared not even think about it. It's like running a marathon. The organizers will place some signposts along the road, which will indicate how many meters the runners have run and how close they are to the finish line. In this way, people will feel motivated that the finish line is right in front of them, supporting the runners to run to the finish line. But the current situation is like the road signs have been removed. At a glance, the road seems to have no end, and where the end is unknown. Ellipsis. Fugi Garden. Zhou Tianao, who was killing his opponent in Summoners League, found that his opponent had clicked surrender. He was about to move on to the next game when he suddenly received a friend request. Seeing this, he agreed without thinking much. After passing, the other party sent a message immediately. Brother, you're so awesome. Do you want to join us next time? 44. Failed to slap someone in the face, please recommend and vote for me. Brother, you're so awesome. Do you want to play with me next time? Quote. Zhou Tianao had already gone into queue up, and when he saw this, he thought about his own situation. It's been so long since I graduated from college, and I don't even have a girlfriend. It seems that she was attracted by my top-notch operation. He has seen many people become lovers after playing games. Maybe he can find love from the game too. So he cancelled the queue and invited the player who was obviously a girl. As soon as the invitation was sent, a player immediately entered the room. Since the room had built-in voice chat, he heard a soft and sweet voice as soon as he entered. Brother, are you a power leveler? I see you're always MVP. Quote. No, this is my own account. Even though I bought it, the results are all my own. Quote. Really? Wow. This is the first time I've seen a whole page of MVP records. You're amazing. So what position do you play? Quote. No matter what, Zhou Tianao is still a young man, so when a girl praises him, he will feel a little emotional. Any position except support is acceptable. After all, support's role is too dependent on teammates. If teammates are unreliable, you might lose. Quote. The girl was immediately happy when she heard it. What a coincidence. I happen to be a support player. If we queue together, we will definitely win every time. Quote. 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 Zhou Tianao did not refute, but quietly started the ranking game. Although he has a 100% winning rate and can win every time with or without girls, it is also a fact that voice communication can increase cooperation and improve the winning rate. There is no need to mock him. After hard work from last night until now, Zhou Tianao's rank has reached the platinum level above gold. Because of his 100% win rate, the players he matched with were basically in the higher diamond tier, whether they were teammates or enemies. And they all have a very high winning rate, and the players you meet are basically players of some level. So, if nothing unexpected happens, the girl will also be able to play the game, at least she knows how to win the game. As long as his teammates don't cause trouble, victory is inevitable based on his ability. Soon, the game started. Zhou Tianao was killing everyone as usual, and the girls turned into cheerleaders, shouting and cheering beside him. Holy crap. Awesome. Solo kill. Quote. 666. The jungler caught the top laner at level 2 and gave him a double kill. I'm dying of laughter. Quote. Is it possible to win 3 kills in a 1-on-3 fight? Quote. Quadruple kill. This operation is outrageous. Quote. Pentakill. Ha 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 ha, the opponent is dumbfounded. He can actually do this with so little health. Quote. Vote. Vote so soon. I haven't shouted enough. Quote. With the enemy's high ground crystal exploding after the successful surrender, the game was won very easily. Brother, you are so awesome. Quote. The girl's voice sounded very excited. Although the players in this tier are skilled, they're not very skilled. Their understanding of the game is too superficial, so if you focus on this, you can easily win. Quote. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote. The girl's original intention was to praise this hunk more so that he would continue to help her score points, but he ended up discussing the game's strategy with him directly, which made her not know how to respond for a moment. She doesn't understand these. Are you still playing? Quote. Zhou Tianao didn't know what the girl was thinking, so he took the initiative to speak. Play, I have nothing to do today, I can play all the time. Quote. The girl was still thinking about how to answer, but she didn't expect the other person to speak first, which saved her a lot of brain cells. So Zhou Tianao took the girl along to chop melons and vegetables, and received sweet praise from the girl amid bursts of crystal explosions. Soon, dusk fell. Brother, my takeaway has arrived. I'm going to eat first. Quote. The girl's sweet and lovely voice has penetrated into Zhou Tianao's heart. He immediately smiled and said, Go ahead, do you want to play tonight? Quote. Play. I'll come after I'm full. Quote. After saying that, the girl left the room. Zhou Tianao looked at the empty room and lost the desire to continue playing. After ordering a takeaway, Zhou Tianao opened the Douyin backend and found that his 10 bug videos had received a lot of views. Among them, the latest reviews of Supercomputer have shown that the bug is useless. What a crap video. I can't even find the power button after I turn it on. Quote. That's right, I don't know how they turn on the computer without the power button. Quote. Upstairs, you only got half of the oil and salt in, right? Quote. Seeing that the comment section was so active, Zhou Tianao simply didn't delete the video, but just added the word, fixed, to the end of the title. Then he clicked on the video of Giant City, one of the bugs generated by the 10 times face slapping amplification return coupon. The comments on this video are quite consistent. It's so cool, this picture can actually be played like this. Quote. Tisk tisk, I randomly got this map in the qualifying round, everyone else is stunned. Quote. This is what it means to play games. It's free and fun. Quote. Ellipsis ellipsis. Zhou Tianao checked the comments on 9 other videos. It's basically the type that everyone says is good. In other words, it has been almost 18 hours, nearly half a day, since he threw out this trump card, and the first bug has not been successfully fixed. This shows that his strategy of making everyone lose the will to fight was very successful. Otherwise, with the ability of those officials, it would be impossible for them to not be able to fix even one bug when they found it. Now Zhou Tianao was completely relieved. After midnight, he will continue to release new bugs to put pressure on them. In addition to completing system tasks, it can also become the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Wait until they can no longer bear it, and then unblock their accounts. If I had known this would happen, why did I do it in the first place? Quote. Zhou Tianao shook his head, stopped thinking about it, and turned off the Douyin background. The takeaway was still 10 minutes away from arriving. He had wanted to play another game of Summoners League, but there was clearly not enough time. So he opened Goose Racing, which was enough for him to complete 3 rounds in 10 minutes. Click rank to start matching. He had barely finished ordering when he found himself in the queue, which was incredibly fast. What's going on? Are there a lot of people at this hour? Quote, although this initial account reached the gold rank, which is also the most populated rank, when it was stuck in the root 56 inches bug, the speed of ranked matching cannot be so fast. At least it should take more than 10 to 20 seconds. If you can't get in instantly, you have to be extremely lucky and there are exactly 6 players of the same rank queuing together, then you can get in instantly. With doubts, the system began to randomly select maps. I quickly chose a 3-star map called Wind and Fire Wheel. Zhou Tianao remembered the steps to fix the bug on this map. At 30 seconds, control the car into the flaming wheel on the right side of the track to trigger the flying bug. After remembering this bug, Zhou Tianao smiled slightly and waited for the dance to end. The original account was still clapping in the back, but this time without the mockery of the barrage. Zhou Tianao felt that it was meaningless because there would be no more face-slapping points. At this time, the game screen appears and the countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go. When the time came, Zhou Tianao drove the initial car out, trying to break through the siege. But he failed immediately, and other cars with better performance than his pushed him to last place. Zhou Tianao doesn't care about this at all. He has a bug and can win no matter how he plays. I'll let you show off for 29 seconds. In 30 seconds, it'll be my home turf. Then I'll show you what a buggy god is. Quote, Zhou Tianao smiled calmly as he saw the flame wheel not far ahead approaching and the time had reached 25 seconds. Because of his more delicate operation, although he failed to break through, he was still able to follow closely behind other players. The difference between the two cars was almost the same, and the error in crossing the finish line together would not even exceed 1 second. The time quickly came to 28 seconds. On the left was the Flame Runner. Because the track was very wide, I needed to drift to adjust the direction before I could rush into the Flame Runner. This operation took just about 2 seconds. Now. Quote, he saw the perfect moment, and just as his fingers pressed the drift and direction keys, he suddenly saw the 5 players in front of him perform the exact same action at the same time. The 5 of them drifted to the left in unison. The scene was incredibly smooth. As the 30 seconds ticked by, they rushed into the flaming wheel. From his perspective, the 5 players rushed in, and their vehicles trembled for a moment, as if stuck. The next second, they soared into the sky, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. However, Zhou Tianao made an operational error due to this scene and stayed where he was, resulting in a failure due to a bug. Bang! Failed to slap someone in the face, slap value -5. Quote, Zhou Tianao. 45. Demons Dance. Please recommend and vote. Fuck, is this how games are played now? Quote, when the 5 players reached the finish line together and a 10-second countdown appeared on the game interface, Zhou Tianao realized to what extent the bugs he had released had developed. He didn't believe in evil, so he started another game after this one. The random map this time is still the 3-star map, Xiaoyaoji. The steps to solve the bug are: if you start moving backward after the start countdown ends and then move forward 5 seconds later, an acceleration bug will occur. So, the game begins. 6 players appear in front of the runway and the countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go. Quote, when the time came, no car moved forward, but all backed up, fearing that they would miss the bug. When the 5 seconds were up, everyone slammed on the brakes and then sped forward. A bug took effect, and each car sped up like it was equipped with rocket thrusters. They covered the 5-second gap to the finish line in half a second, and continued to race forward. My goodness, the demons are dancing wildly. Quote, after seeing this scene with his own eyes, Zhou Tianao was somewhat surprised, at least in terms of the visual impact. There was still some time before the takeaway arrived, so he didn't waste it and continued. This time it's the Samsung map, amusement park. Again, the bug steps are: at the carousel location, if you insert the car between 2 horses, you can trigger the picture-penetrating bug. This bug has no time limit. After entering the game, everyone rushed to the carousel. Watching the slowly turning carousel, the players aimed their sights at the gaps between the horses. On a first-come, first-served basis, they each found a gap, aimed their car's front end, and sped in. After entering, the vehicle shook for a while and then passed directly through the carousel model. Then the other models in the map became useless in front of them, just like projections, and they could pass directly through them. Zhou Tianao also followed them through the carousel and wandered around the entire map unhindered. At this time, Zhou Tianao's phone rang, and the takeaway had arrived. He secretly ran to the finish line. The 10-second countdown immediately scared the other players, and they rushed over one after another, but some of them ran too far and could not come back in time. After the game ended, players condemned Zhou Tianao's behavior. "Fuck you, you idiot. We were having a great time, and you sneaked to the finish line." Quote, "That's right, I haven't had enough fun yet. Damn it." Quote, "I was just trying to see how far I could run on this map, and you actually crossed the finish line. You've never won before, right?" Quote, ellipsis. Zhou Tianao looked very happy and stood up, walked to the door and brought in the takeaway. At this time, the phone rang. It was a message from the girl. They had added each other on WeChat when they were playing games during the day. "Brother, I'm ready, let's get started." Quote, as soon as he got the takeaway, he replied, "Wait a minute, my takeaway just arrived. I'll be back in 5 minutes after I finish eating." Quote, this time the girl didn't reply, but he didn't care. He opened the takeaway and started eating. 5 minutes later, he threw away the takeout box, picked up his phone and sent a message. "I'm ready, come on." Quote, after sending it, he sat in front of the computer and opened the Summoners League client interface, which had been in idle state. He just clicked it and was suddenly stunned. After adding a friend, you can see the friend's game status, including whether they are away, online, or in the game. At this moment, the girl's game status is already displayed in the game, and looking at the time, it shows that she has been playing for 5 minutes. At this moment, his mobile phone message light up. It was a message from the girl. "Little brother, my friend suddenly asked me to play with him. I'm going to play with him first. Please wait for me." Quote, Zhou Tianao. Quote, his mind was full of question marks at the moment. "Can't you wait 5 minutes? Is this open to others?" Quote, ellipsis. Quote, Zhou Tianao pondered for a few seconds, moved the mouse to the girl's avatar, right-clicked the mouse, and clicked delete. A pop-up window suddenly popped up on the client. Open black lens bracket, confirm to remove friend. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, remove close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket, cancel close black lens bracket. He chose to withdraw without hesitation. Women will only affect his scoring speed. As a strong player, Zhou Tianao naturally realized this quickly, and started playing solo, and by the way, he also blocked the girl's WeChat. Although it is a bit rude to block and delete someone without saying a word. But for those guys who had clearly agreed to play together, but couldn't wait 5 minutes without a reply to their messages and started playing with someone else in the blink of an eye, he felt that it was no longer a question of politeness but a question of character flaws. It would be polite to block such people directly, otherwise he would just start to criticize them. The new solo queue started soon. Although Zhou Tianao still won this game and was still able to kill, he didn't feel any pleasure from beginning to end. There's no way around it. His mood has been affected, and he just doesn't feel comfortable playing games. Although he drank Shenbao, he's still a human being, and he has all the necessary emotions. "Let's not play anymore." Quote, he said as he entered the ranking again. Now that his rank is higher, the matching time has also become longer, and 5 minutes is the basic waiting time. While waiting, he picked up his phone again and opened the novel app. At this time, he found that the book, After Rebirth, I Created an Ideal Gaming Empire, had been updated with many chapters, and then he realized that he had not read it for 2 days. Continuing from the last chapter, although the game produced by the protagonist is a bit shoddy, it is creative and epic making, and soon attracts the attention of large companies, which want to acquire his game and hire him. But how could the protagonist, who suffered so much oppression in his previous life, agree? He just wanted to make games by himself. As a result, the protagonist whose cooperation failed began to be targeted by big companies and encountered various difficulties. But with his advanced understanding of the game, the protagonist can always find a glimmer of hope in difficult situations, break through the siege, and gain a large number of loyal game fans. With a fan base, his game started to go smoothly, but then suddenly. Then it disappeared, and he was still updating. This fragment was given to me. Quote, Joe Tianao felt like there was a stone stuck in his heart, making him feel uneasy. He always wanted to see the rest of the story, so he paid another 1,000 yuan and gave it all to the author, adding a sentence. Update quickly. Quote, at this time, Joe Tianao's ranked match was successful and entered the loading page. The loading page of Summoners League shows everyone's rank, name and selected hero. Joe Tianao took a quick look. Because of his 100% win rate, he was always matched with diamond players even though he was in the platinum rank. He was used to it. However, when he glanced at the opponent's support, he was suddenly stunned. Isn't this assistant named Lovely Cat, the girl he deleted? The player next to him, Joe Tianao, logged out and checked. It was the friend the girl mentioned. They had already played a round and lost. For some reason, Joe Tianao couldn't help but curl up the corners of his mouth. The gaming spirit that he had lost when his mood was affected before was gone at this moment. They are all back. Who says men can't be petty? Quote, 20 minutes later, Joe Tianao, wearing all 6 pieces of equipment, blocked the opposite fountain and used a skill on the cute cat in the corner. The opponent could not withstand the high damage, his health bar disappeared directly, and he died on the spot. The next second, his friend also revived, and Joe Tianao did the same thing, using another skill. The chat interface in the game exudes an unknown smell that is a mixture of green tea and stench. Cute cat. Brother, why did you delete me? I'm so sad. Quote, little brother, could you please stop trying to catch me? Quote, have you had enough of that? You enjoyed killing me, didn't you? Quote, why are you so disgusting? You only know how to bully weaklings, right? Quote, Haotian god. Yes. Quote, cute cat. Get lost. You're the loser, your whole family is losers. 46. Are you serious about this, god of cars? Please recommend and give me a monthly pass. After the game, Joe Tianao was in high spirits, all the previous boredom gone. After coming out, he checked what kind of friends, cute cat, was and took a look at the battle record. I found that he also has many MVPs on the same page. He is considered a master, but I am nothing compared to him. I checked the past records of Lovely Cat, and found that her duo teammates were different almost every day, but without exception, they were all masters with impressive records. And this friend was the one I duo queued with yesterday, if he hadn't gone to find cute cat today. Then she will be playing duo queuing alone all day today, but it may not be the case later. It turns out that it was all carried up by my teammates. Quote, Joe Tianao suddenly realized that when he played with her during the day, he felt that her level was a little low and she didn't understand many things in the game. Now I find out that she doesn't belong to this segment at all, and she relies on others to get points. It seems that blocking and deleting is indeed the right choice. Ellipsis ellipsis. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Joe Tianao was about to check how many bugs he had released had been fixed. As soon as I opened Douyin, an exclamation mark suddenly popped up. Your account is suspected of business disputes and has been temporarily banned. Quote, Joe Tianao. Quote, he stared at his phone for a long time before reacting. I took another look at the video software logo, and it's indeed Douyin, not Bilibili. In other words, his Douyin account was also blocked. He was dumbfounded. Could the White Goose government extend its hand to competing companies? This completely contradicted Joe Tianao's speculation and was undoubtedly a huge blow to him. In other words, he was being played. He originally thought that Douyin could provide him with a safe haven to rely on and allow him to release bugs with peace of mind. But now he found himself being stabbed in the back. He guessed that the official of Goose Speed gave Douyin enough benefits, otherwise Douyin would not allow people to block people's accounts in its jurisdiction. Sure enough, there are no eternal enemies between companies, only eternal interests. Fortunately, the nuclear strike was successful, but the radiation that was spread out is not so easy to eliminate. The spread of bugs has penetrated into the players' bones. As long as all the bugs are not fixed in one day, these players will use the bugs to destroy the game environment until the entire game falls apart. Now, a large number of players who have quit the game have appeared in the official forum of Goose Goose Speed, including some big players who have spent more than 100,000 or 200,000 yuan in the game. If this situation continues, Goose Racing will suffer from insufficient income and its capital chain will be broken, which will eventually lead to the bankruptcy of the game. Of course, all this takes time. And he must find ways to continue to make things difficult for the authorities and continue to use bugs to increase the pressure on the authorities. Douyin and Bilibili are no longer around, and he now has almost no channels to spread his message. But he soon figured out a solution. He can't spread it, but others can. He can get others to help him spread the bug. However, this method requires money. Zhou Tianao looked at his bank card balance, made up his mind, and opened the Goose Speed Racing Exchange Group. Although this method will put the person who found the bug at risk, but compared to the real money, what does this matter? So, he first chose the racing discussion group where his sons were quite numerous. After all, it was better to keep the wealth within the family. Are the sons here? Quote, "Fuck, God of Cars, you're still not asleep at this hour." Quote, "God of Cars, where have you been with your 80,000 yuan computer? I haven't seen you in such a long time." Quote, "God of Cars, you probably didn't know your account was blocked. Racing has completely changed recently. There are all sorts of monsters and demons running rampant. That's an understatement." Quote, "Is this what you mean?" Quote, "At this time, someone in the group sent out a GIF. In the picture, 5 players adjusted their direction with a smooth drift, got into a flaming wheel, and jumped into the air. Because it is a GIF, the image keeps looping, giving people a particularly novel and shocking feeling. Yeah, that's it. This map is called Wind and Fire Wheel. After the bug is fixed, the whole person in the car can fly into the sky. It's so cool." Quote, "After these bugs appeared, you basically can't see normal gameplay in qualifying. It's all about glitch play. If you can't play with glitch play, even if you spend $1 million on the game and buy the best car, you still won't be able to beat others. So if you want to rank up, you have to learn how to exploit the bugs." Quote, "In the past, everyone was competing to see who could run the map faster. Quote, nowadays, everyone is competing to see who can spot the bugs the best. If you don't time it right, you're bound to lose. Not to mention it's incredibly exciting to play." Quote, "Oh my god, since when did debugging become the way to play games?" Quote, "My lord, times have changed." Quote, "Don't tell me, I think it's fun, I want to try it too." Quote, looking at this group of idiots, Zhou Tianao was thinking about how to find a reason for them to spread the bug themselves. Suddenly, someone in the group asked, "God of Cars, do you know where the bug came from?" Quote, "Yeah, even though your account has been blocked, you should know a lot of powerful people, right? Did they know about it?" Quote, "To the person who posted the bug, I just want to say, well done." Quote, seeing this, Zhou Tianao simply stopped thinking about it and typed directly, "I made all of this." Quote, as soon as these words were spoken, the group fell silent for a few seconds, followed by question marks. Quote, question mark, question mark, question mark. Quote, "God of Cars, are you making fun of us?" Quote, "While we admit that your skills are impressive, fixing bugs has nothing to do with technology, right? How dare you brag about that?" Quote, "Yeah, God of Cars, learn some common sense." Quote, the group was teaching the car god not to brag, and suddenly saw him post 2 pictures. One picture shows Bilibili being blocked, and the other shows Douyin being blocked. Each of the homepages in the picture has a video of releasing bugs, especially Douyin, which has more than 10 videos. Bang! Slap value +1. Quote, bang! Slap value +1. Quote, bang! Slap value +1. Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. Holy crap. God of Cars, are you serious? Quote, not only are you a skilled programmer, but you're also a programming expert. Quote, it's so terrifying, so terrifying. You're the one who created all this hype. And I'm actually in this group. Why am I suddenly a little scared? Quote, me too. We won't send it right away, right? Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. Faced with the confusion of the group members, Zhou Tianao immediately explained. Don't worry, the existence of bugs is a problem with the game itself. As long as you don't use them to sell, no one can do anything to you. Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, some people in the group immediately noticed something was wrong. Then why is your video account gone, Cheshin? Quote. Yeah, God of Cars, your account couldn't have been hacked. Is this a scammer trying to trick us? Quote. It's possible. Only a liar would say such irrelevant things. Quote. Joe Tianao. That's normal. I've probably caused Goose Speed to lose tens of millions these past few days. He's definitely going to find a way to stop me from creating new bugs. Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the group was shocked. Quote. Quote. Let me just talk, tens of millions, is that true? Quote. It's very likely. Given the current gaming environment of Goose Speed, it's almost impossible for players to continue to play the game while paying real money. Goose Speed currently generates around 2 to 3 million in revenue per day. This has been going on for several days now, so a loss of tens of millions is probably an understatement. Quote. Fuck. God of Cars, what are you doing? Quote. Joe Tianao. He blocked my account by mistake and wouldn't unblock it. Other methods didn't work, so I had to find a solution myself. Coincidentally, I have a friend who knows programming. Quote. Good boy, do you really have this friend? Quote. 666. This is out of the blue. Failing to unlock an account by mistake caused the gaming company to lose tens of millions. I'm floored by this operation. Quote. As expected of the car god, this is a direct threat. If you don't unblock me, I'm going to continue to cause trouble. Quote. Well done. This crappy game was going to die sooner or later anyway. All they do every day is release new cars and skins to make money. There are so many bugs, frankly it's the game's fault. If the game was perfect, would anyone find bugs? Quote. That makes sense. A bunch of guys who only know how to eat and work. Quote. After everyone finished cursing, someone asked. By the way, God of Cars, you didn't come here today specifically to tell us this news, did you? Quote. Yeah, shouldn't it be better if as few people know about this kind of thing as possible? Quote. I'm also curious, God of Cars, are you getting carried away? Quote. Joe Tianao smiled slightly when he saw this, tapped the screen with his fingertips and sent it. The next moment, the group members suddenly saw the God of Cars send a message that made them very excited. I'm here to show you, the splendor of God. 47. Increase the difficulty by 100 million points. Please recommend and vote for me. I'm here to show you, the splendor of God. Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, many lurkers in the group were shocked to come out. This is too pretentious. God of Cars, calling you the God of Cars doesn't mean you're really a god. Why are you still pretending? Quote. Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that you usually call us numbers, I would have already started to scold you. Quote. Don't act like a god, this is the human world, wake up. Quote. Jokes are jokes, but no one really thinks Joe Tianao is his father, and no one really thinks he is a god. The God of Cars actually just represents a human player with relatively advanced skills. Everyone knew this, but they didn't expect that the car god they praised seemed to actually believe it, which made them feel a little contemptuous. My little, ignorant sons, your knowledge is too limited. Quote. The god I'm talking about isn't just the God of Cars, it's also the God of Bugs. Quote. Facing the ridicule from his group friends, Joe Tianao seemed to be unconcerned, and said with great dignity. Now, pick any map in the Goose Speed Ranked Tournament. It's 10 o'clock in the evening. Within 3 hours after you pick it, I will create a bug for you. Do you believe it? Quote. I guarantee it's a new type of bug that can't be found online. Quote. His confident words immediately frightened all the group members. Really? I don't believe it. Quote. God of Cars, stop showing off. 3 hours is impossible. Quote. That's right, discovering a bug requires luck and coincidence. Sometimes it takes 3 years to find it. 3 hours? Are you kidding me? Quote. At this time, a friend in the group said. No, have you forgotten those 2 screenshots that Che Shen sent? Quote. He really might have a bug. Didn't he say his friend is a programming genius? He has more than one estimate. Maybe it just happened to match the map we described. Quote. Yeah, I almost forgot. He said he has a friend, and that's his confidence. Quote. The group members suddenly understood. God of Cars, this is not very kind of you. You're trying to scare us with your friend's inventory. Is that fun? Quote. Do your friends know that you are so arrogant? Quote. Does your friend know that you're showing off with the bug he researched? Quote. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote. Zhou Tianao was just blowing, but he didn't expect to blow himself in. But in order to maintain his composure, he still said confidently. My friend is a programming genius, but I'm just as good, if not better. Quote. Seeing that he was still pretending to be cool, his friends in the group sneered at him. Are you going to increase the difficulty by 100 million points? Quote. Just brag, and see if I believe it or not. Quote. God of Cars, please stop. You don't want your image in my heart to plummet, do you? Quote. I've reached rock bottom here. Quote. Zhou Tianao knew that if he didn't pretend to be successful, his plan might fail, so he said. In that case, how about we increase the difficulty a little? Quote. Difficulty. What the hell? Quote. The group uttered a questioning sound and then fell silent. You guys are still responsible for designating the map, but the time will be changed to within 30 seconds after midnight. Quote. Before that, you can think of a map we wouldn't expect. It can be any of the 200 or 300 maps. Just tell me at 12 o'clock, and I'll definitely come up with a new bug for you within 30 seconds. Quote. As soon as these words were spoken, the group fell silent. 30 seconds. Forget about finding bugs, even finding a map would be difficult. They will still designate the maps, and they have to be unexpected ones. Moreover, the limited range of the previous qualifying matches has been eliminated, and the difficulty has been greatly increased. Unless you have control over the bugs in 200 or 300 maps, you can only do it so quickly. But if they were asked to believe this, they would rather believe that Zhou Tianao is a real god. Is everything you said true? Quote. A group member said doubtfully. Guaranteed authenticity, 10 times the compensation if it's fake. Quote. Quote ellipsis ellipsis quote. Are we really allowed to choose the map? Is there some inside information? Is there an undercover agent in the group? Quote. Zhou Tianao. We've all known each other for a long time. You can vote for someone you trust. It's impossible that I've been setting this up for years, right? Quote. Indeed, that makes sense. Quote. It seems so. Quote. So let's start voting. Quote. I think so. Quote. At this time, Zhou Tianao, who was almost pretending to be cool, said. Everything is ready, chat with me privately. Quote. Then, a small message appeared in everyone's chat box. God of Cars Haoshan has left the group chat. Group members. Quote. What's going on? Quote. I understand. He's making his stance clear. This way, he won't even know the outcome of the vote, and there's no chance of undercover agents or insider information. Quote. Fuck, he's already done all the work. Quote. Fuck, why is he so handsome? Quote. At this time, some group members raised questions again. Is it possible that he did this on purpose and that he actually has spies in the group? Quote. This was not impossible, so someone immediately suggested it. How about this, we vote for just one person, so that we can minimize the possibility that he is an undercover agent. Quote. I think so. Quote. It's safe. Quote. Just as the preparations were being finalized, someone else spoke up. I think there's still a chance of picking an undercover agent, but that's not very safe. Quote. Now even the others couldn't stand it anymore and started to condemn it. No, are you a nitpicker? Even after all this, you still want to argue. Quote. What are you so afraid of? What do you mean by probability? There are over 1,000 people in the group. Is the probability greater than 1%? Even if many of them are dead, how high can the probability be? Quote. That's right, I'm impressed that he was chosen as an undercover agent. God is helping him, so why would I refuse to trust him? Quote. The group members criticized the nitpicker verbally, but the nitpicker is the nitpicker, and at this time he said. Isn't there a voting robot in the group? Quote. Wouldn't it be possible to eliminate all human interference by using robots? Quote. Just take down the names of all the maps and let the machine pick one at random, and everything will be fine. Quote. The argumentative person's words stunned everyone in the group. That seems to make some sense. Quote. Let's just forget about it. This is the truth. Quote, a voting robot is just a piece of programming code. It's impossible that the code is also an undercover agent of the god of cars, right? Quote, with so many layers of protection, if he can still come up with a new bug, then he's truly amazing. Quote, I think we've gone too far. Should we give him some face and switch to the qualifying round? Quote, it's so funny. He chose his own path, and he's been so pretentious, yet he still wants us to pity him. There must be something hateful about a pitiful person. Do you really think he's your real father? Quote, quote. Then we've decided. Since the robots will choose the images randomly, even we can't know which one to use, let alone him. Quote, Therefore, in the absence of Zhou Tianao, group members used multiple layers of security, from manual voting to robot image selection, to directly eliminate any possibility of undercover agents. The time soon came to 11:59 in the evening. Zhou Tianao received an invitation from group members and joined the group again. God of cars, we've already decided to use robots to vote for the map. We don't even know what the map is right now. Quote, Zhou Tianao was stunned. He didn't expect these people to have so many tricks. If it weren't for the system's support, he would have really been defeated. At this time, the time came to midnight. Zhou Tianao, let's get started. Quote, after that, someone in the group typed, call the robot and start random image selection. Quote, robot, starting to select a random map from 245 maps. Quote, robot, map selection complete, map name, Ghost Tracks. Quote, everyone was stunned. Didn't this map have a bug but it was fixed? It shouldn't be a bug anymore, right? Quote, yeah, they'll definitely overhaul it when the official repairs are done. Shouldn't we just get a new one? Quote, I think we can do it again. Quote, just as the group members were still discussing whether to change the picture, Zhou Tianao appeared in less than 30 seconds. Zhou Tianao, when slowing down after leaving the air in the 7th corner, a rebound bug will occur after landing. Quote, group members. 48. This is simply a miracle, please recommend and vote for me. When Zhou Tianao explained the bug's card method within 30 seconds, the group members were shocked. The robot votes for maps randomly, and they don't even know what map will appear. What's more, it's a 7-star map that had a bug and was fixed by the official. They thought they needed to change the map, but he was so domineering that he kept his promise and actually pointed out the bug within 30 seconds. No, this bug is not nonsense, right? Quote, how can this be true? Why don't I believe it? Quote, believe it or not, just try it and you'll know. My mom won't let me turn on the computer at this hour. Who of you should go and try it? Quote, okay, my computer is still on. Let me try. Quote, I'm coming too. Quote, As they were talking, many group members opened Goose Speed with questioning eyes and began to experiment with bugs. As they shot out of the slope of the 7th turn and flew into the air, they pressed the back button. Goose flying car does not have an absolutely real physics engine. Under this effect, their vehicles can slow down in the air. As a result, the car that was originally flying out began to slow down significantly, and it became almost suspended in the air and quickly landed on the ground. After landing, they saw their car inexplicably start to move, sometimes wanting to move forward, sometimes wanting to move backward. This process lasted for about 3 seconds. The car was like a wild horse that had broken free from its reins. It was not controlled by their keyboards at all. It launched directly from the spot and jumped out in an unprecedented posture. Its speed was extremely fast, faster than when the vehicle was flying in the air, up to several thousand yards. This scene was quickly recorded and posted in the group. What the hell? What the hell is this? Quote, fuck, is there really such a bug? Quote, this is too outrageous, isn't it? Quote, it was already after midnight and the slap value had been refreshed. Bang, slap value +1. Quote, bang, slap value +1. Quote, bang, slap value +1. Quote, at this time, the nitpicker appeared and said, is it possible that there's something fishy going on in the voting robots program? They specifically chose this image, and he happened to find 2 bugs in this image, and the official had only discovered and fixed one before, so he was able to point out this bug so quickly. Quote, That seems to make sense. Quote, really? Otherwise it would be too coincidental. Quote, the people in the group were hesitating, and Zhou Tianao said, as long as my account is unblocked, I will use this method to tell you a new bug every day, including duplicate maps. Quote, quote, question mark, question mark, question mark, quote. As soon as these words were spoken, all the group members were completely convinced. If this one time was a coincidence, what about the second time? The third time? And the god of cars said every day. This means that he is really confident that he can point out a bug within 30 seconds when he is randomly assigned to any map. You know, to be like the god of cars, there are 245 maps. You have to find the map when it appears randomly and find a bug. Unless you have the bug of every map in your hand, this is not enough because there is a possibility of duplication. In this way, each map must have more than 2 bugs in hand. That is to say, you have to hold hundreds or thousands of bugs at the same time to achieve this level. This is still theoretically feasible. If not, then the god of cars is relying purely on his understanding of the speed racing code and can come up with a bug the moment he sees the map. How crazy is that? This is simply a miracle. Argumentative person was kicked out of the group chat by the administrator. This guy had been hiding all the time, and now he suddenly shows up and dares to offend their god. He is naturally unforgivable. God of cars, I'm convinced. I'm completely convinced. You're too awesome. Why didn't you take me with you when you evolved? Quote, I feel like my IQ has been completely crushed. Is this something a human can do? Quote, from today on, you will be my god forever. Quote, Zhou Tianao, thank you so much. Actually, I did all this just to vent my anger. Now, I want you to do me a favor. Don't worry, your work won't be in vain. Quote, his image in front of the group members at this moment was a step higher than before, and the group members began to express their opinions upon seeing this. God of cars, what you said is true. Every believer works for the Lord willingly. What's the reward? Quote, does the God of cars want us to take on the authorities? How exactly should we do that? Could the reward be a prison meal package? Quote, the god of cars seemed to have said that as long as you don't use bugs to profit, everything will be fine, right? Quote, Zhou Tianao, that's right. As long as you don't try to sell bugs for money, no one can threaten you. Quote, I understand. Quote, that puts my mind at ease. Quote, okay, what do we do? Quote, Zhou Tianao, use this bug to create a video yourself, and then choose to post it on Bilibili or Douyin. Quote, remember, the main purpose of the video is not to show others how you have fun, but to teach them how to fix bugs. Quote, based on this foundation, you can play freely. Quote, finally, there are rewards. At midnight every day, you can come to me and get 100 yuan for every 10,000 views. If any one of you can reach 1 million views, that's 10,000 yuan. Currently, with my ability, the maximum is 100,000 yuan. Quote, God of Cars Haoshan sent a red envelope. The red envelopes were snatched up in 1 second, and the lucky king was, why are you sleeping? Wake up and have fun. Closing square bracket. Fuck, all the divers have taken it all, are you dogs? Quote, everyone uses support, if you have the ability, you rely on hand speed. Quote, damn it. The 200 yuan packet is all gone in an instant. You didn't say anything and didn't miss the red envelope. Are you human? Quote, as soon as the red envelopes were sent out, the group members were immediately mobilized, and many lurkers also clamored to join. Fuck, I remember Bilibili's creative incentives were only around 10 or 20 yuan for 10,000 views. The car god is so generous. Quote, I'll make a video right away. Quote, I've already started recording. Seeing that the group members had already started making bug videos, Zhou Tianao glanced at the time, turned off the computer, and got up to prepare for bed. He has decided to change his daily habits, so it is better to do what he says. Ellipsis. At the same time, Goose Speed Racing Studio. The foreign programmer looked at the people in the technical department with melancholy. This group of people is still in a state of collapse, resulting in very low efficiency in bug fixing. Many times, they take a long time to respond when asked questions. At this time, a foreign aide said, how about you guys take a break? Your mental state is too low. Don't let yourself be sacrificed at work if you keep going like this. We have experience ourselves, and we've almost figured out how to fix this bug. We can handle the rest ourselves, and we should be able to fix it before dawn." Quote. Other foreign players also echoed. "Yeah, you guys can't go on like this, take a rest quickly, just leave this little thing to us." Quote. Yes, you are too scary like this. I am afraid that if you fall down accidentally, you won't be able to get up." Quote. Go and rest quickly. Since we are here to help you, you should learn to rely on us more. Quote. So, the programmers from the technical department walked towards the rest area in a daze under urging. They were really tired and fell asleep quickly. In their dreams, they could vaguely hear the sound of foreign players typing on the keyboards. Seeing that most of the people in the technical department had fallen asleep, the foreign aid staff also worked harder, determined to fix the bug before they woke up. But because there are no programmers who are familiar with the Goose speed code, their speed is actually not very fast. Isn't this the way this place should be changed? Quote. It works, yes, that's it. Quote. It seems that this place can be modified like this. Quote. It works, that's good, almost done. Quote. Holy crap. Why can't the two places combined work? Quote. Ellipsis. At 3 o'clock in the morning, a foreign player walked up to another foreign player with a mobile phone. They knew each other. Look at this. Quote. What are you looking at? I haven't fixed this bug yet. Quote. As he spoke, he naturally took the phone and took a look at it. On the screen, a car moves back and forth, takes off with a catapult, and rushes towards the sky. Quote. Quote. He exchanged glances with his friend, who nodded, and then he froze. Half an hour later, all the foreign players stopped what they were doing and stared blankly at the computer screen in front of them. 49. Pioneer, please recommend and vote for me. 7 a.m. on September 21, 2024. When the first rays of morning sun shone through the curtains, many people in the technical department woke up one after another. A night's rest did restore a lot of their energy. Many young programmers even felt that they had been completely resurrected and their mental state had been greatly adjusted. People really need enough rest. After cheering up, they stood up and saw that the foreign players had stayed up all night and were still staring at the computer, looking very serious. Thinking of their behavior last night, a warm feeling suddenly surged in my heart, and I even regarded them as my own family. Hey, good job. Quote. A young technician came up behind a foreign player, patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile. I see you haven't even started typing. Has the bug been fixed? How many of the 10 are left? Quote. The next moment, the foreign aide slowly raised his head, the corner of his mouth twitched, and his eyes dodged. There are 11 left. Quote. Technician. Quote. He was dumbfounded when he heard this. How come there was still another bug after fixing it all night? How did you do it? Are you sure that you are not sent by that up-host to kill us? The gratitude I had for these foreign players disappeared in an instant. What have you been doing here all night? Why are there so many bugs being fixed? Quote. He couldn't help but say. Play. Quote. The foreign aide became annoyed when he heard this. Can you blame me for this? I stayed up late so you could rest, and you don't even think about our kindness, but you're blaming us. Quote. He sneered, that's hilarious. You're talking as if the closure of your studio has something to do with us. I'm not from your department, do you really think you're that important? Quote. What did you say? Your studio will go bankrupt. Quote. That's hilarious. Our game isn't full of bugs. Look at yours. Is it still playable? 6 people in one game, 5 can still find the bug, and the other one can't. Your game is doomed. Quote. Do you believe me if you tell me I'll beat you again? Quote. Come on. I'd love for you to beat me up if I met you this early in the morning, and you can even take a paid day off. Quote. You really think I dare not touch you, right? Quote. Just as a fight was about to break out, the young technician was grabbed by the shoulder. A head of thick hair poked out from his side, accompanied by a deep whisper. Apologize to me. Quote. The technician shuddered and straightened his body. He knew who it was without even thinking when he saw the hair. He bowed directly to the foreign aide and said, sorry. Quote. He knew that Shen Lei was very objective in his work. If he said he was wrong, then he was wrong. He just needed to apologize directly. He would definitely let him know where he was wrong later. Sure enough, after the quarrel subsided, the young programmer finally understood. It turned out that a new bug was circulated, which increased the number of bugs from 10 to 11. It wasn't what he thought. The more bugs were fixed by foreign help, the more. Why are there new bugs? Quote, didn't the Douyin account get blocked as well? Quote, is this a ghost or a bug that follows me everywhere I go? Quote, everyone in the technical department is confused. After the account of Haoshan Emperor was banned, there should be no channel for him to report bugs. So where does this new bug come from? Could it be that the real mastermind behind this is not this Emperor Haoshan, but an inhuman being? For those who have watched too many science fiction movies, it is easy for them to associate some things with it. But they quickly denied it because they knew better than anyone how fake the things in the movies were. Many things were not impossible to achieve, but there was no point in achieving them. Reality is not like art. If it has no meaning, no one will study it, and naturally there will be no achievements. Not to mention that some things that seem to be achievable with technological advancement are actually illusory products that have no basic logic and rely entirely on imagination. So, after putting aside some unrealistic ideas, they came to a conclusion. Either a newcomer discovered the bug and spread it, or it was the bug that was released under the orders of Emperor Haoshan. At this time, a foreign aide noticed the pattern and said, I found that although the videos of those who posted the bug varied, they all posted the same bug. So there is no doubt that there is a mastermind behind this. Quote, it's him again, Emperor Haoshan. Quote, why do I feel like you are praising him? Quote, this crappy name really deserves a beating. Quote, ellipsis. After knowing the methods of Emperor Haoshan, we naturally have to find a way to deal with it. Otherwise, if the bugs continue to increase, the game will be doomed. Haha, Zhou Tianao's bug is endless. Quote, some people began to give up on themselves. It will take at least 6 days for the contract to be approved. After 6 days, the players will probably have left. What's the point in fixing the bugs? Quote, yeah, anyway, if the game is gone, our jobs will be gone too, so we might as well just quit. Quote, that makes sense. Instead of wasting your life on fruitless pursuits like this, why not find out what you really want? I've been watching a lot of hiking videos lately, and I suddenly want to go see those majestic snow-capped mountains. Anyone want to team up with me? Quote, that's right, take me with you. You can't make enough money anyway, and you only have one life. Might as well live it now. Quote, I'm going to. Take me with you. Whoever wants to fix this crappy bug can do so. I don't want to see it again anyway. Quote, I want to go too. Quote, don't abandon me. Quote, ellipsis. Are you planning to become monks together? Quote, the foreign players were stunned by the technical department's response. How come in the blink of an eye these people seemed to have seen through the world and were all ready to quit? What kind of blow did he suffer to have such thoughts? Quote, ellipsis. Quote, at this time, Shen Lei, who had been thinking for a long time, finally made up his mind and said, let's close the qualifying matches until the contract is approved. Quote, boss, are you kidding me? Quote, when they heard that the qualifying round was going to be closed, they all thought Shen Lei was crazy. Ranked matches are the key to player retention. If they're shut down, the game will be on the verge of collapse. Quote, yeah, what do you think, boss? Quote, if the ranked matches are closed, how can it still be called a competitive game? Quote, is it still far from bankruptcy? Quote, Shen Lei said one word and everyone shut up. I will take all the responsibility. Your task now is to fix all the bugs with all your strength. As long as we can hold out until the contract is approved, we will be able to turn defeat into victory. Quote, isn't that an exaggeration? Quote, after Shen Lei finished speaking, someone immediately muttered, this game is so buggy that even if it passes the final review, we'll still suffer heavy losses. Can we even recover those losses? What's the point? We might as well stop wasting our time and just run away. Quote, that's right, there's no difference at all. It's a complete waste of time. Quote, boss, face the reality. We all know your abilities. You should change companies as soon as possible. Being a supervisor is not your limit. Quote, "Yeah, how about you take the lead and we follow you to jump ship together?" Quote, the foreign players were stunned. They had seen employees changing jobs before, but this was the first time they had seen a supervisor change jobs with the entire department. "Thank you for believing in me. I'm honored." Quote, facing the employees who had already started to give up, Shen Lei said solemnly. This incident not only made us, but also everyone at the headquarters realize that there is such a loophole in our contract. Quote, "Bugs are inevitable, but we never took them seriously, and that's why we paid such a heavy price." Quote, "However, we must firmly believe that what we are doing now is unprecedented and will never be repeated. This is not meaningless. We are using our blood and sweat to create a safe haven for future game companies." Quote, with the birth of the new contract, future game production companies will take this as a lesson. When their games have bugs, they will no longer spread them and cause serious losses to the company. Instead, they can safely and securely fix every bug with the help of the law. Quote, "Every pioneer's path is filled with thorns, but every step they take is meaningful." Quote, Shen Lei's words were like a heavy blow to everyone. They stood there in a daze for a long time. It turns out that they are doing such a great thing. Even though it was forced. Inform the PR department to issue an announcement. We will completely close the entrance to the qualifying round after 12 o'clock. Quote, after Shen Lei finished speaking, he looked at everyone present and spoke slowly. Remember, sometimes victory doesn't have to happen to us. Maybe people won't remember us until we die. But no matter what, it all means something. Quote, let's get started. Prepare to close the qualifying round. Quote, everyone was shocked and shouted in unison. Yes. Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. At the same time, Zhou Tianao, who woke up early, suddenly received a message from the racing discussion group. It was a video of a man with thick hair giving a speech. Look, a friend of mine just took this while he was loaned out to help out in the technical department of Goose Speed. This is some inspirational quote their supervisor just gave to the employees. Quote, when Zhou Tianao saw the words, Goose Speeding, he frowned and clicked on it to take a look. After reading it, he was immediately filled with question marks. Fuck, Pioneer, am I a bad guy? 50. Reacquaint yourself with this game. After watching the entire video, Zhou Tianao exclaimed, wow. Quote, if we look at it from the perspective of interests, he did cause Goose Speed to suffer heavy losses, so he is definitely a bad guy. But fundamentally, he just wanted to get back his account that was mistakenly blocked, and he was the real victim. But at the root of the matter, the reason why things have developed to this point is entirely due to the lack of attention from the authorities. What the thick-haired supervisor said in the video is correct, but they still overlooked one thing. That is, they do not pay attention to user experience. Whether his account is blocked or bugs appear, it is all caused by their neglect of players. To put it in a less realistic way, if a game is deeply loved by players, then when problems arise in the game, will the players take the initiative to destroy the game, or will they spontaneously maintain the game? The answer, of course, is to maintain the game. And how does Goose Flying do it? An account being mistakenly blocked will only make the customer service robot perfunctory, always thinking that they can rest assured with the user agreement in hand. He used the Eye of Disorder to open the code space, and at a glance, all he saw were red light balls representing bugs. Have these bugs been proactively fixed? Before it appeared, was it true that no user had ever encountered it or given any feedback? Not necessarily, but every day Goose Racing thinks about how to release new racing cars and new skins to reap users' money. As the season's driving god, he has seen many players complain in person. Some are heavy spenders who have spent 200,000 or 300,000 yuan, but there is always room for spending money. This version may have produced a top-notch racing car with extremely powerful performance, but it would cost 20,000 to 30,000 yuan to buy. Therefore, in order to pursue the limit, players who spend money buy it. But just after I bought it, the next version came out with a car that had slightly better performance. The car I just bought in the previous version suddenly became useless. If I didn't buy a new car, I wouldn't be able to win. But if I bought it, I would feel it would be a shame not to drive this racing car. In this way, under thousands of tricks, many players even originally planned to spend only 10,000 or 20,000 yuan, but in the end they had to pay the down payment for a house, and they still couldn't regret it. Of course, this is still a world of Krypton Gold players, and civilian players still have ways to reap the rewards. Creating a single-player room requires a privilege of more than 10 or 20 yuan per month. If you want to dance in the game and stand at the front, there are more expensive advanced privileges of 50 or 60 yuan. These consumptions are not high, but they just grasp the psychology of civilian players. In addition, these privileges are on a monthly rental model, so they can reap a wave of profits every month. With a larger base of civilian players, these consumptions added up to a considerable income every month. Yes, game companies need to survive and need this money as operating expenses, to support the company's employees and maintain game facilities. But how do the expenses of operating compare to the revenue? The answer is, it is totally disproportionate. The revenue is many times higher than the operating expenses. So, where did all the extra money go? Zhou Tianao knew without thinking that those people had bloody hands and feet since birth. He believes that even if a small portion of the revenue was used to support the players, the game would not have become what it is today. As soon as the bug appeared, everyone was happy to see it and began to use the bug to ruin the game, hoping that the game would die quickly. Currently, except for the players who have been abused by the bug, everyone on the internet is celebrating the impending demise of Goose Racing. Attracting high income from players at low costs is the current operating status of Goose Speed. Now, all of this has been completely accelerated due to an account being mistakenly blocked. And up until this point, they had never truly discovered their own problems, always thinking about reviving themselves and trying to become a milestone in gaming history. Even after all this, you still ignore the real reason. I can't help but accept it. Quote, Zhou Tianao was filled with emotion, and suddenly remembered something, so he went back and watched the video again. What does it mean that this contract has been approved? Quote, with doubts, he found the group member who posted the video and asked him the question privately. Wait a minute, I'll ask my friend. Quote, a few minutes later, he sent a screenshot of the chat. This is a contract clause prohibiting the spread of bugs. Once approved, spreading game bugs will be illegal, and the company can report it to the police. Quote, Zhou Tianao frowned and asked, how long will it take for this contract to be reviewed? Quote, I'll ask later. Quote, ellipsis ellipsis. 6 days. Quote, Zhou Tianao was suddenly shocked when he saw this. This timing just happens to coincide with the mission. Zhou Tianao counted on his fingers. So far, he had only released 4 of the 10 bugs in the task, 1 a day, which was 4 days. There were still 6 days of bugs left to be released. In other words, after he published his bug and the contract terms were reviewed, he would never be able to use the same method against the game company again in his lifetime. Zhou Tianao took a deep breath. From now on, if he takes a wrong step, the mission will be a failure. Even if the system gives him another chance, the law will not tolerate him. In fact, this matter has been delayed until now. Zhou Tianao always feels that he has overlooked a certain problem, and this problem is very big, very big. He sat on the sofa again, just like when he came up with the idea of nuclear strike, before, sinking deep into the sofa, looking up at the ceiling, closing his eyes, and began to think. What reason was overlooked? Why are they able to stand up again and again? Why have they been able to linger on until now? Is it because that thick-haired man feeds them chicken soup every day? It is possible, but it is definitely not all. There must be deeper reasons. Chicken soup can only provide spiritual nourishment, but it has little effect on real problems. The things that need to be solved will not become less because of chicken soup for the soul, so there must be something wrong with his method. At this moment, he imagined himself as 2 armies facing each other. What was the reason that prompted the remnants of the Goose Army to launch counterattacks time and time again without regard for their lives? What kind of thing can give them such willpower? The whole army fights to the death. No, the Goose Army hasn't fallen into such a desperate situation yet, and they don't have enough strength to give rise to such a will. Wait, desperate situation. Suddenly, Zhou Tianao's mind buzzed with an idea, and he understood what exactly made the Goose Army stand up again and again. That is hope. Although it seemed that I pushed them into a desperate situation every time, in fact, there was no real way out, which allowed them to see hope again every time. With hope, the army will naturally not surrender, but will resist stubbornly to the end. After all, it was because the pressure I put on them was not enough that they fell into a truly desperate situation. But how can we do this? Zhou Tianao fell into deep thought again, but soon found the key point. Although the bugs he gave out every time were simple to operate and highly contagious, they could all be fixed without exception. Even though he would tire them out by releasing buggy game after buggy game, even 10 at a time. But who are they? Programmers, nicknamed code farmers, are well known for their hard work and toughness. Although the pressure he put on them was great, it was not to the point of making them despair. It is precisely because of this that they have stood up again and again and confronted him until now. Must we extinguish their hopes? Quote, Zhou Tianao was thinking in his heart. If you want to make them despair, you must find that kind of overlord-level bug. Overlord-level bug, if you don't move, you will be safe, but if you move, the mountain will collapse. However, bugs that are simple to operate and highly contagious are easy to find, but bugs of this level are not so easy to find. Zhou Tianao has now pretty much figured out how to use the Eye of Disorder. Finding bugs is not as simple as picking a red ball of light at random in the code space. The Eye of Disorder will not tell him what kind of bug each red light ball has. He must have the corresponding ideas himself to find it. For example, his previous requirement for finding bugs is to have both simple operation and strong dissemination. So in the corresponding goose racing, what bug can meet these two conditions at the same time, and where can it be found? The answer is a bug in the popular maps in the ranking matches. So he can find these maps directly in the code space and follow the clues to find the corresponding bugs. So, what he wanted now was an invincibility bug that couldn't be fixed, couldn't be shaken, and even had to meet the above two conditions, and could attract the officials' high attention. He is currently not sure where this bug can be found. But as a true master, he soon realized that it was useless to sit here and think. After opening his eyes, he stood up, sat in front of the computer, opened Goose Racing, and logged into his secondary account. This time when he logged in, he did not play any games, but started to check the various game modes and system functions on the game interface on the client one by one, with a very serious and focused expression. To find the ultimate bug, Zhou Tianao felt he needed to completely re-examine the game from the beginning.